Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black Business. I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black Business. I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black business. I am Black business.
The Black Business Network and Black Business Olympics are essential platforms for Black business owners globally. They provide the tools and support you need to succeed in today's competitive marketplace. Join us today as we collaborate together with businesses from around the world to support our children, students, and young future entrepreneurs, Black businesses and corporations. We raise funds for students going to college and young entrepreneurs who are aspiring to be business owners, and we invite you to be a contributor today. Visit the website www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to connect with and learn more about how the Black Business Network and Black Business Olympics can help you not only share your amazing business story to businesses, but also serve future generations. Hello, my name is David Jones, CEO and co-founder of the Hello LLC, where we help businesses build a culture, brand and experience, and leverage technology to pivot into Web3. Join the Black Business Network streaming live into Roku, Metaverse, STEM City, Black Multiverse Enterprises, Hulu, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple, Facebook, LinkedIn, Spotify, Twitch, and Google Podcasts. Tune in, turn on, and let's thrive.
You are in the right place at the right time. The Black Business Network opens again for its Black Business Olympics, a 24/7 broadcast on business, strategies, global branding, social media marketing, finance, advertisement, and much, much more. Featuring the top, most powerful entrepreneurs and speakers and thought leaders from all around the world as they gather together for this phenomenal event. Join the Black Business Network streaming live into the Metaverse, STEM City USA, Black Multiverse, Pod TV, Roku, Hulu, iHeartRadio, Apple TV, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Google Podcasts, Facebook, LinkedIn, IBM TV, Spotify, and Twitch. Tune in today and be a part of this amazing movement. The Black Business Olympics welcomes you.
How many times have you been asked to help someone you didn't even know, a student, a business entrepreneur, or did you ever even ask, where did they end up? That business, that friend, that entrepreneur. Well, just maybe they ended up in a gang, bankrupt, homeless, or worse, dead. Maybe they turned to crime, drugs, and alcohol. Did you ever wonder? Did you destroy their dream, or was your life always so easy? At the Black Business Olympics, we started a movement to help students complete. Give them hope and foster success. Help them to leave their dreams of providing laptops, computers, and up to $5,000 in scholarship funds. Today, we ask you to help a student, a business owner, or an entrepreneur to realize their dream by sponsoring them, supporting them, and buying from them. Consider this. With $1.6 trillion in our Black community, we only ask for a small donation for our students, our businesses, and our entrepreneurs. And you can change a life today. So I ask you, what are you going to do? Sit on the sideline and watch our students in high school be losers, miss out on their dream from lack of resources? Or are you going to donate to the movement and change their future and yours as well? Give us a call today at 919-308-9090. Change their life by investing with action to the Black Business Olympic Fund. The Black Business Olympics, one of the largest business showcases of Black business in the history of the world.
What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support. Where health education is abundant. Where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City USA. It is what every city should be. A safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
Phenomenal Tanya T. Wise, who is here from the great state of Maryland. Tanya, welcome and thank you for being with us today. Can you indulge our audience a little bit and tell them just a little bit more about who you are and what it is that you do?
Well, I love being able to talk to people and have a magnetic attitude, being able to just show them. So I always like to say, level up is Coach at Tanya T. Wise here.
So can you tell our audience, just give them a teaser about what your presentation will be about?
So my philosophy is that we should all be living our dream life. So tomorrow I'm going to talk about how you start living your dream life. What are some of the things that you thought about in your childhood that you just kind of let go and dormant?
Wow.
And I want to reignite that and just give you some pointers and some tips, some tools, some strategies to be able to start living your best life now. And guess what, Wanda? And leave an inheritance for your legacy.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I know that's resonating with a lot of people. I've heard that you have a dynamic coaching program. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So our coaching program help people that have the lack of time, that lack strategies, and lack the confidence to go after their dream life. So we help them implement tools, we help them implement strategies, as well as give them resources so that they can live their best life now and leave that inheritance.
Wow. Oh, I love that. I love the leave the inheritance part. Listen, you are dropping some major nuggets, and I know a lot of what you're saying is resonating with a lot of people, but I think we're all curious. How did you even make this transition into the speaking and coaching arena? What's the story behind this?
So I started out in finance, and I realized that a lot of people don't necessarily go after their dream life because of the lack of finances or the education behind finances. But it wasn't until I lost my firstborn, my only son, that life changed for me. And where I was going after it all, living the corporate life, hit my 6-figure income and living in my dream house with my dream man, driving my dream car. I nearly lost it all when I lost my son. And so I realized it only takes one financial catastrophe that can change your entire life. That's what made me start All New Beginnings. Because no matter what's going on in life, there's a new beginning. And because of that, we develop a program called Wise Minded. My little slogan is, don't just dream it, let's live it.
If they want to connect with you or work with you, what is the best ways for them to be able to do that?
Well, for my social media guru, you can connect with me on every single social media platform as Tanya T. Wise.
Did you know women represent just 3% of Fortune 500 CEOs and less than 15% of corporate executives at top companies worldwide? Have you wondered what the secrets are to getting into the top ranks, whether in the private or public sector? Do you want to figure out how to stop being held back in your career or passed over for promotion? Then you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, President and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. I have decades of experience in the military, the federal government, and corporate America, and my mission is to help women succeed and tap into their full potential. I want to reach 1 million+ women around the world to become the leaders they are meant to be. So if you want to move into a management or executive level position, or maybe you are a female veteran transitioning out of the military into business entrepreneurship, then reach out to the Executive Women's Success Institute at 301-693-3284. Let us get you on the fast track to success.
Artist to me is a creative expression of something from nothing. You know, it explodes onto the canvas, or it explodes on in my work. One of the things that I try to do more than anything is I try to just give the lines and the movements and emotions and expressions into what I do. Art really means to me a chance to express how I feel deep down inside. Most of my art begins as a thought that I might have, you know, whether it's sports, whether it's history, whether it's a woman or a man. It pretty much starts as an idea of thought before I get into the actual image of what I'm going to draw. I do a lot of historical pieces. I was a history minor in college, and I love to do history pieces. And a lot of times I'm thinking about history, and then I try to make that history impact you as you look at it. That's one of the reasons I do pictures so large. People ask me, why do I do the pictures so big? And I tell them, I want the piece to impact them as they're looking at it, to kind of dominate them, dominate their space. And most of my pieces I try to do off page. I don't try to do anything that's going to be in those four corners or in a square. And I want your imagination to be a part of the piece that you're looking at.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
Good day, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and corporations. Welcome to the Black Business Network. My name is Judy Charles, and I am from Guyana. I'm your business moderator for this day on the Black Business Network. The Black Business Network is a 24-hour business network showcasing Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders worldwide. We have speakers from North Carolina, London, Singapore, Africa, Japan, and cities all over the United States. The Black Business Network is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, inspire, and educate businesses about business. Our first speaker is Denisha Rowe. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce Denisha Rowe, a trailblazer in the sports industry and the dynamic founder and CEO of Sports and Entertainment Today, LLC. Denisha has carved a niche in highlighting the personal lives of athletes and celebrities, bringing their stories to the forefront through Set Magazine. Her pioneering initiative, Women of the NFL, showcases her commitment to empowering women connected to the sports world. With a rich educational background from Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University and Executive Studies at Pepperdine and the George Washington University, Denisha embodies leadership, innovation, and the spirit of entrepreneurship. Please welcome Denisha Rowe, a visionary changing the game for women in sports and entertainment.
Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am fabulous. How are you?
I'm good as well. Okay, so now Denisha Rowe and Grant McGaw will engage in a fireside chat. And remember, genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you so much, Yana. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Miss Roll, how are you doing today?
I am awesome. How are you, Grant?
Man, I'm feeling better and better and better. I am feeling better. You are a trooper. I really appreciate working with you, a true entrepreneur, someone who's always ready for the moment. All I had to do was ask, and she says, yes, I will speak on the Black Business Olympics and speak to the Black diaspora all over the world. As you see, we got young and old listening to us. My first question to you, and I know a lot of people just were intrigued with that opening, like, what type of women of the NFL? What's this Set Magazine? What's this all about? Tell us a little about what you got going on with Set Magazine.
Yes. So Set is Sports and Entertainment Today. Created a sports lifestyle platform. We don't cover any stats or scores, but we present sports in a lifestyle way that appeals to the female sports fans. But the guys love to read it because their peers and icons are featured. So Sports and Entertainment Today not only has a print, but digital presence. We also have created events, the Set an Example Conference, and we did that for the women of the NFL. So I created Women of the NFL on Instagram, and the Set an Example Conference is a time every year. So we're going into our 7th annual conference where the ladies get together. We talk about things that relate to the NFL life that we've all experienced, and our community has experienced, and the highs and the lows of it. And so it is a fabulous weekend where we get to connect in person, get to know one another from all 32 teams. It's been amazing.
I know it's been amazing. I saw the latest issue that you brought out. I think it was in December, featured Raheem Mostert, his beautiful wife. The layout is beautiful. I just got my attention just immediately. And there's one thing that you did not mention that also got my attention, that about a year or so ago, you were on a podcast with 2 other colleagues, and all 3 of you went in, and y'all went all the way in on the sports life. Tell us just a little bit about what that podcast was all about.
Yeah, so I'm set. It is with Adriana Smith and Natasha Paul, women that are dynamic. Sports Top Tasha, who is Natasha Paul, has blogging and interviews and worked for the Miami Heat, interviewing their players. And then Adriana Paul, who was a cheerleader for the Miami Heat, and she is now their chaplain. We came together, women that are just, as I said, dynamic and just so, knowledgeable about sports and what goes on, the different intricacies of it. And so we just have great banter about what's going on every week in sports. And I will tell you, there is always something.
There's always something. And you filmed year one, and you are gearing up to do year two. I want now. Here I go. I want to go to the sneak peek, right? The sneak peek, and that is what is so intriguing. Because I tune in sports. I'm a big sports fan. I love the Dolphins. I thought they had a great year. I'm a Heat fan, a huge Heat fan. I watch a lot of these different things, but I don't see a lot of women, specifically women of color, especially 3 women actually on a set talking deep about sports in such a way that it just captures my attention. What do you got going on for season 2 that you're thinking?
Yes. So season 2 is approaching. We are excited to launch it. I mean, as I mentioned, there's always something going on in sports. So you guys will have to watch out for what we have going on. But I will tell you, every week we will have something that is not only informative, but entertaining and motivational as we share what's going on this week in sports.
Let me ask you this. Behind the scene, because you just talked about that lifestyle thing. Everybody, they see people go out, whether men or women, they're in professional sports. It takes a toll. It takes a lot to be a professional athlete, a lot of time. But yet you still are maintaining a relationship. You're maintaining a marriage. You're maintaining a household, children, the whole nine. What can you share with our audience about what is really like behind the day-to-day of a professional athlete?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I'm married to Samari Rolle. He played 12 years in the NFL. So I have been privy to the highs and the lows. And then just as I speak with athletes for sports and entertainment today, and with women of the NFL, these women stand right beside the guys that are in the most watched sport in America, the NFL. So what is it like? I mean, it has been tremendous to see. Samari went to a Super Bowl, didn't win, but you get to see the highlights of it all, and going to Pro Bowl. And this year Samari was nominated for the NFL Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame. So those are exciting times, and being able to experience that has been a huge blessing. But then also the lows of it, the, health challenges. Samari was diagnosed with epilepsy. So there's a whole epilepsy community that has embraced him, and, having to navigate a new normal, right? As far as that is concerned. And, then being released from a team, what is that like? And then being married and having your own marital issues as a result. So we have now stood the test of time. It's 20 years married. So I can, share the ins and outs of those things, but it has been a ride, and that's what life is all about, a journey and being able to navigate it. And I will say that it has been a blessing that we have been able to keep God at the forefront of our relationship and, navigating the sports world. I will tell people there are so many unknowns, right? We are looking at now Sha'Carri Richardson, who is the face of Nike, signed a huge contract and just had this new partnership with Jaquemus brand, and she is winning the world's fastest woman. But there was a time that she went through. And so as a community, I will say the Black community really stood beside her. And now look at her thrive. And so seeing athletes take a break, come back, navigate through different things, it is, it's what makes it all worth watching and relatable.
Totally relatable. And you are relatable. You cannot be 20 years of being married, not only to the man, but to the sport. You see what it takes to play at the NFL level. And just so I know, which team did he go to the Super Bowl with?
So he went with the Titans.
Remember the Titans. Okay. Right. So that man, I remember him as a player, just fantastic guy. Just seeing him on the field, just seeing his performance. But that goes all the way back. Now, you also mentioned, or was mentioned in your bio, that you went to a HBCU.
Hey. Yes, I am a Florida A&M University graduate, Rattler through and through.
Now, do you cover some of the sports with the H? Because they've really come up the scale when it comes to coverage. They just had a special about the Black athletes that only could have played in HBCU at the time. That went on to go into the NFL and did great. There's a lot of people that did not know that certain people played in NFL. I mean, do you have coverage around those areas?
So yes. And I didn't get to go to the Celebration Bowl this year, but I did go to FAMU's homecoming. So I have been keeping up. And prayerfully, we will have a baby Rattler coming up. We're waiting to see these college acceptances. But yes, I do keep up. And my husband did play with Steve McNair, who went to an HBCU, and so that was an experience getting to know him and his wife. So yes, quite a few guys have come out of HBCUs and have played in the NFL.
Man, and you just brought that up. I mean, that's a story in itself. You think of McNair, if you were that close to his family and what they had to go through, those are some of the behind the scene things that are occurring, that are major. They get into the headlines, but you don't see what that's really like off camera. Right. And it's got to be pretty devastating. I like the fact that you're being able to tell the true narrative. And I think we need that away from just what you call mainstream media. They're always going to, tune into maybe some story topics that aren't that relevant, but you can set the story straight. I trust three women on the stage talking about, high-end sports, especially when you got the pedigree that you have, that you lived it, and all three of you, man. And then Tasha, she's like a library on all the stats. I mean, she really talk about your girls a little bit.
Yes. So Sports Talk Tasha, she will tell you, and I always joke, she can tell you who is on the O-line, the depth chart. I mean, she is in there. So hearing that from, women isn't always a popular thing. It's not something that is common. So it has been a breath of fresh air just to hear her and her takes and why different teams aren't doing as well as they could, and what her projections are for, who's going to win what. So it's just amazing to hear Natasha and her knowledge. I mean, it's fascinating. And then Adriana, she comes from the take of just, she is single. She is no nonsense. I will always joke with her. She's so black or white. It's one way or the other with her. And so she's a straight shooter, and you're going to get that from her. And just the blend of all of us together, talking sports, talking lifestyle, talking, what is going on from our perspectives has just been amazing.
And she's the chaplain for the Miami Heat?
Yes, she is.
I think that's amazing. And when I think through these, a lot of times we've seen certain shows that have come out, the women of the NBA, wives of the NBA, or, things of that nature. And, some things that Shaq's wife did, or some others. And you look at your take, how are you going to be different?
Well, you know what? When you're talking more reality TV, right? So reality TV, they want a different sort of a narrative, if you will. So their color is different from what our color is. We are not, our aim is not to tear anyone down or to, throw a dart at one another. We just give our perspectives. We respect one another. You'll never see any, glass throwing or cursing one another out. That is not going to happen with I'm Set podcast, which is morphing into a television show. But for us, it is really just about our takes. And, we have stood to be corrected at times, but, how we view things. And I think it is very different from what we've been seeing on television and, ESPN and the different takes that are out there. And I'm excited about it.
I'm completely excited, especially in South Florida. You're in South Florida. If the artist didn't know, I'm in South Florida. There's a lot of current athletes here, up and coming athletes, retired athletes here. You're going to be able to draw on so many experiences, not just in the local, but obviously nationwide, but you've got a wealth of people. Give us a shout. Talk to our audience. Tell them how they can be a part of your show.
Yes. So you can catch I'm Set the podcast, which has now become a TV show, which is what we're working on. Look out for that. But Set_media on Instagram, Women of the NFL on Instagram. We're also on Facebook, same Women of the NFL. There's a public page. We also have LinkedIn. So you will be able to get all the updates of what's going on. You can even get your copy of Set Magazine at setmagazine.com.
Okay, so we got that commercial out. We needed to get that out there because this is going to be a blockbuster. Everybody's hearing about this first on the Black Business Olympics, and I'm telling you, it's going to be a great show. I want to ask you, as you think back, before you created the magazine, or as you started thinking about Set as a business, what got you started? What was your impetus?
So I would go to the games and I would see so many women in the stands. And I said, why is no one talking to this demographic? Like, we consume sports, but all of the advertisements were geared towards men. And I'm like, we make so many buying decisions in the homes. A lot of the things that go down are because we've influenced it. And so why aren't advertisers talking to us? Why isn't there content that we can relate to? There's Sports Illustrated, there's ESPN. Why not something for the ladies? And so that was what I wanted to create so that, we could also be knowledgeable. I might want to know who that quarterback is, but I don't want to know necessarily, what his stats and scores were. I want to know, is he married? Where do they vacation? Does he have children? Are his kids playing any sports? All of the things that we might want to know as women. So that is what inspired me to create Sports and Entertainment Today.
That's wonderful. I've got some friends that played in the NFL. I'm watching one of my friends now. He was on my show about a year or so ago. His son is now playing in high school, but he has been, selected or recruited as a 5-star player going into the Big Five conference, right? He's only, I think even right now, he's only a freshman in high school. He's only played one year.
It's a new day as far as my son is in 8th grade and he wanted to post his high school interest, right? Now you guys track with me. 8th grade, gonna post this on Instagram. And my husband and I are like, for what? Like, you're just going to high school and we're just trying to figure out where you're gonna go. And so these high schools have offered us to come to visit. And so he posted, and I will tell you that different high school coaches were in his DM, like, before you commit, come check us out, come see our school. And I'm like, this is like self-promotion here. And it's starting as early as 8th grade. And so we joked that, 7th graders and 8th graders are saying, oh, I'm playing for this travel team and check me out here, because it is a new day with NILs and kids going here or there. People are keeping up. They're watching, coaches are watching, and it's like a serious matter.
I never knew it was that big until he showed me year round. They're playing 7-on-7s. They're getting already commitments. These big time colleges are sending these commitment letters. They're flying them out. I said, he's only in 9th grade. So I remember when I was thinking in 9th grade, it wasn't nothing like that, and he's
Listen, one of the coaches said today, because we had a school visit earlier today. So I'm hopping in here, guys, from the school visit. But one of the coaches said that they have a college coming to the high school every day. And so February is like starting to slow up, but he's like, he just couldn't imagine that it would have been like this for these players.
Now, do you feel it's a distraction for your child? Is it the good? Is it bad? How do you feel about that?
I think that, it's going to take some keeping him grounded, because he's like, oh, Mom, this week I'm going to get an offer from a college. I'm like, kid, you're 13. Like, seriously? But, it comes with the territory, I guess, and just having to, for me, what do I feel about it? I feel like it is it is exciting. You have to keep your kids grounded and focused because student athlete is really what it's about. But watching these kids get offers in ninth grade to go to college, it's interesting. It's exciting. I'm happy for the kids that are doing great. Like you said, these kids are like 4, 5-star recruits.
Absolutely.
So it makes them want to work hard, So
it's a different dynamic than just me being in high school. You just walk around with your letter jacket, right? That you play football. You're just big man on campus, a senior. I don't remember ever somebody walking around with already a college that it's already, kind of earmarked them to come to their school, let alone, and I've heard NFL scouts are already, kind of looking at these kids because they see, I think some parts of when you're a athlete at that level, there's some, work ethic. There's obviously athletic ability that kind of translates. So they're like, hey, if Samari was so great, his son's got to be a phenom, or
listen, they talked about genetics today. That came up during our conversation. Uh-oh, did I lose you?
There I am.
Okay. Yeah, so you're mentioning Samari playing, the genetics came up during our talk today with the high school. Okay.
There we go. A little technical difficulty, but yeah, go ahead about Samari.
Yeah, so one of the things that they mentioned was genetics, and my son is tall, on the taller end, and so just his wingspan and different things like that, and to your point, with NFL coaches coming to watch high schoolers, there are baseball scouts from different baseball teams, and I know that's completely different, right? Because kids are coming from high school, but they're coming to my son's camps that he's going to watch these kids playing baseball, young 12, 13-year-old kids.
That's a great opportunity. But going to the flip side of that, as you stated, is that, yeah, that's great that you're good in athletics, but you still got to be grounded in school. Do you think that helps the child to like, all right, now you really got to double down on these books. You've got to maintain a certain, GPA, and then understand that even though this might get you into school, you may not be a professional athlete that earns a lot of money, even if you do play pro sports, because so many of them don't really, what you would call, get to the big dollars. They may make some money, but then 4 years after that, they're just, a natural citizen. So what have you gained through all of this, time, which really is a short period of time when you think about it? Have you had that discussion?
Absolutely. I mean, with our son, I will say that you want to really pay attention to the program that your children are looking at, because academics is really what's important. What does the support look like for that? Because if you look at the statistically, right, the majority of these kids are not going to go to the next level. The majority of these kids probably won't get a Division I offer, right? So just for their leadership, their ability to play with one another and build community and, develop some skill sets and character is really what it's all about for us. And I encourage other parents to make that, what it's about for their kids as well, because you just don't know.
No, you don't. You don't know. I'm gonna change gears just a little bit. Get back to your magazine, because I went through it. I thought it was one. I want you to tell the audience, first of all, how long you've been producing it, how often it comes out, and the type of content they typically will see within the pages.
For sure. Now, guys, Black Business, I will tell you, and I was joking with Eric Kelly III, Dr. Eric Kelly, that I am Black Business. I wake up Black Business, go to sleep Black. That commercial, guys, I embody that. And as an entrepreneur, you guys know, if you have been at it for any time, it is a journey. So I thought of sports and entertainment today back in 2006. And I was pregnant, and for those moms out there, I don't know, something about that nesting, for me, it just gave me a burst of energy. I wanted to get things done. I am delivering my daughter, and a photo shoot was going on at the same time. So that is just how about it I was. And originally we started on newsstands, Barnes and Nobles, Borders, 7-Eleven, Walden Books, and then print as we knew it sort of took a turn. And at that time, you're looking at Vanguard Media, who was selling for $40 million. And I'm like, hey, we could do that with Set. And then came Instagram and Twitter and all the things. But there was still a void in the marketplace. I went through a MBA program, George Washington University, and started learning about venture capital and investors because that wasn't part of my conversation growing up. I saw entrepreneurship in my father and my mother, but never were we talking about investing. And so Set then went from not going on newsstands because our advertisers really wanted to be in locker rooms and be in front of the athletes to how could we pivot and how can we make this niche something that makes sense so that we could, earn capital. And so Set became quarterly. We go directly to private subscribers, affluent demographic, and we have events that allow for our advertisers and sponsors to come and, interact with our audience.
So when it came to sponsors and advertisers, and usually for a lot of people, that's the big hurdle. You can create, some type of a content, and you might have some credibility in your field and what you're doing, but to attracting the right sponsors and advertisers had to be, how did you present that in such a way that you got the sponsors and advertisers that you have?
Yeah. So let me tell you guys, I slid in the DM on Instagram to this woman who I saw that she was working with Samsung. Little did I know that she was, head of all of their marketing global. And she decided she wanted to sponsor our very first conference. And so Samsung was our presenting sponsor for our first conference. And that is how we were able to, offset costs. Right. And then from there, we have it is a matter of reaching out and letting no mean not right now, not necessarily no forever, and consistently following up with people and believing in what it is that you're doing.
Did you hear what she said? She said, I slid in the DM. What does that mean? It means we gotta help some people that don't know, not that of savvy on Instagram, direct message. You connected with somebody on social media, I'm assuming Instagram, you sent them a message in their direct message, that's the DM, and they responded. Is that
Yes.
Yeah.
That is how that happened. And I will tell you that I've done that even with different athletes. Hey, we want to feature you in sports and entertainment today. And so, listen, guys, it is one way that you can make things happen. And so for Set, you guys can expect, more events. You can expect to see every edition. We are going to cover athletes who have amazing foundations in our Set Assist. We have a Set tailgating section where we cover athletes that cook, athlete-owned restaurants. You'll be able to see in our Set homes, athlete-owned homes. We do tours and athletes that are even selling their homes because different athletes are looking at the magazine, right? And so you're able to see, okay, Tracy McGrady is selling his home. So you're able to see that. We also have a feature in every edition, our cover. You're able to see an athlete that is a throwback, some athlete that might have been amazing in his time and what is he doing now. So we are covering those are staples in every edition. Those are the features that you'll be able to see. And we're just going to keep growing. I will tell you that this has been it hasn't always been roses, right? Entrepreneurship isn't. You're going to have your doubts. You're going to have your, oh my goodness, how can I do this? But I throw out that how and I say, okay, Lord, just guide me and keep on going without the doubts. And so that's how I've been able to keep this thing going.
Well, I tell you another thing, as I know that other entrepreneurs are taking notes, especially our young little Yada that brought us up, is that the one thing that she kind of alluded to, but didn't say, like, why would somebody want to advertise in her magazine or be a sponsor at her event, is that her production is 5-star. It is a beautiful piece of work. When you look at it, you're like, oh, yeah, I want to be featured in this publication because it's just like opening up any other 5-star type magazine or publication or online readership, and you have that kind of quality, and I applaud you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. We have an amazing team. That was something that I had to really struggle through, making sure that people could deliver, not overpromise and underdeliver, but actually deliver and allow it to be in a spirit of excellence. Even asking people to help, or who do you know who. So you got to really, work your pieces, use your resources.
Now, when you went out to the Super Bowl, just recently out in Las Vegas, you were invited out, you came out, you're seeing the red carpet, you're seeing all these things. Were you taking out your camera? Were you taking out some videos? Are you putting some things together for your next copy?
Yes, absolutely. We featured actually Floyd Mayweather on the cover of an edition, and I ran into him actually in Neiman Marcus, guys, and connected about him potentially being on another cover. I regret that I didn't take a picture with him. I took a picture when people were walking up. Hey, can you take a picture with me and Floyd? I was like behind the camera taking pictures of them, but I didn't get one with him. And so I did have my camera out though.
Yeah, no, those are those moments you think about, as you said earlier, that you have it's a privilege to be in those kinds of rooms or gatherings, because now you can tell the story for others who are not in the gathering, but it almost projects them into the arena of what that is like. And I love your perspective that you're going to be able to bring not only through your publication, your podcast, but now your TV show, that behind the lens view, especially from that female perspective. And I love how you say, like, hey, how we are the impetus behind how these things happen, and that this demographic needs to be marketed to, and you're going to fill that gap.
Absolutely. And I think it's respected now. The NFL wasn't hearing me a few years ago, but now that Taylor Swift came, they're beginning to see how valuable the female fan is.
That's true. That's true. And the other gymnast that is dating the Green Bay Packers. Excuse me, say that loud.
Simone Biles.
Exactly. You're seeing more and more, because that marriage between entertainment and sports is powerful.
It is. Yes, it is.
Very, very powerful in what can happen, and your particular gap that you're fulfilling in what you're doing. I'm gonna get your autograph after this, right? So I get that.
Oh boy.
Get that penned out. But we are going to start filming. I'm part of the executive team, the executive producing team here. We're doing that through our other sister network, the Kelly Network, Anthony Weeks and his team. And we're going to start filming with Earl, and we're getting everybody together. This is going to be wonderful. We want to bring the audience kind of along. We want to know what they want to see, what they want to know, what the curiosity that's out there. I know I got questions for you. I mean, how do you feel? You see Samari going out there, he's he's warming up, like, yeah, that's my baby, he's gonna do this thing. And then you see this giant 6'9" guy that Samari is gonna have to run into. How do you feel about that?
I mean, you know what? Samari, listen, he was fast, right? So he had to work smart. There is a video of Ocho Cinco thinking he could tackle Ray Lewis. And he's like, oh, he ran into Ray. You don't want to do that, right? That's just not smart. So, yeah, you got to work smarter.
Yeah, respect it. That's your baby, right? You're like, you know what? Let me take my earrings. I'm going to jump on this field. Like, no, this ain't a game.
Right. Yes. And I'm happy that the NFL has taken initiatives to make playing the sport safer.
Yes, that would be a great piece to understand, especially the concussion protocols, what happens. It's the long-term effects for some of the players, that you're playing a game that you love. I love playing the game. There's no doubt about it. However, it's a contact sport. It's a huge contact sport that you don't realize. A lot of people don't realize it's like taking a small car and running it head first into another small car repeatedly, and being able, not only just physically your body, but those jarring things. So I think that's part of, I like to see that in some of the productions, just talking about that, and not only just for the athlete, but yourself, or other women. They're like, how do you feel when you see these type of things? Then do you really want your children involved? Or if you do, what kind of safety, what kind of regulations, what's going to make you feel comfortable?
Yeah, it's a real thing. I think you guys might have heard that our son is playing baseball as well. I have lived the life, and so you do think about, do I really want my child playing this sport, and the aggression and the impact of it all. So a lot of parents have opted for their children not to. And I say parents, a lot of NFL parents have opted for their children not to play tackle football and go on, to do other sports that aren't as dangerous.
That's true. Now, you say you have a daughter. Is she involved in sports at all?
Absolutely, yeah. So we actually have two daughters, but our youngest daughter, she's playing basketball.
Okay, so talk to me about your daughter. We got about 20 more minutes here. They're giving us some more time, so we got some
Yes.
time to
So
really kind of
youngest
drill
daughter
into it.
basketball. She's a senior in high school. She also played tennis. So watching her out there on the court, it has just been, it's like when they say you're watching your heart outside your body. That's her for me.
So your kid, so is the son the youngest? You've got three?
So we have a 23-year-old daughter, a 19-year-old son, a 17-year-old daughter, and a 13-year-old son.
Okay. All right, we got two on two.
Boys.
I like that. There's a nice balance there.
Yes.
Okay? And all of them are involved in sports?
So no, our oldest two are not. Those are our academics. One is at George Washington University now in the International MBA program. The other is at Pepperdine University, his freshman year. And then we have our younger two.
I think that's
high
wonderful.
School and middle school.
I think when you step back as parents and you start to see your children becoming the adults that they are, and some of the paths that they're on, and they're not taking some of the the roads that are out there, like, wow, you got to feel blessed around that, and that you've got stories upon stories and examples that you can talk to with others. I mean, you could probably do a series on each of your children, just like, hey, this is what it was like growing up in an NFL family.
Absolutely.
Did they all go to Samari's games? Did y'all travel as a family?
So our older two more so. The younger two, the youngest one, not at all. Our 13-year-old, not at all. Samari was like end of his career, retired by the time we had the 13-year-old. So not so much, but he's gotten to go back when they do like Legends weekends and welcome the players back. So he's been on the field and gotten to see that, and seeing his daddy signing autographs. So they've experienced that, going to places and people know who he is, and running behind him to get his attention. So they have seen those things.
Well, that's got to be helpful as you did Set Magazine. You understand the celebrityness that goes behind it, and as you begin to produce the magazine, and you've been doing it for a long time, you're starting to get some great steam. What are the other challenges that you're coming across as an entrepreneur that the audience could find helpful?
Yeah, for sure. So some of the challenges are just scheduling athletes, working around busy schedules. As far as entrepreneurs also, you got to have the capital to make it happen. Right. So I have had to sell, and I know a lot of people don't want to be called salesmen. But I have become that because you got to keep the thing going. We need advertisers. We need to make sure that we have sponsors. Who's going to pay for this photo shoot? Who's going to, pay for this layout and design? And then for our events, we do have printed copies there. So, those are things that I've had to get outside of my comfort zone and open my mouth and let people know what I have going on, because a closed mouth won't get fed.
100%. So you had to double down, understand the business of business. And I think that is what happens a lot on the entrepreneurial journey. You may be very good, at a technical aspect of the business, but then you've got to then scale. So how are you going to scale? Like, you know what? I used to be the one that has to go out and get all these things. Now I've got to look at hiring somebody,
And
because
that's what
if
we
I
are.
do attract the right sponsor, yeah, talk to me more about that.
For sure. So, you start as like I was like a one-man band. We had the magazine and we could do an amazing layout, but I didn't have the ad sales team. Right. And so, it was like, okay, this is an expensive hobby. I had to stop for a while because we could Layla Ali, Floyd Mayweather, Gilbert Arenas, Stephon Marbury, like they were all covers, and the layout could stand beside your time, your essence, your, people. But there is that sales component that I didn't know, I really had to master that. And I'm still learning and still building a team so that we can scale, so this can get bigger. And so that is what I'm looking forward to, taking to the next level all the way around.
Well, I can see you can do that, because that's big. That's usually some other people's problem, is that they don't get what you call the star appeal. Someone is going to be interested in looking at that magazine. You've got some great individuals that can grace your cover. I think it's just about getting the visibility out. And that's one of the things that we're doing even right now, is
And
that
I'm
we
so
get that.
grateful for you guys.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're grateful for you, because I think there's a lot of people right now that's tuning into this show and they're like, I didn't know about that. I wasn't aware of that. I need to go get that copy, right?
Yes.
I need to get that story. So we understood that part of the business process is that you had to understand that you had to scale and you had to grow. And I like how you said, hey, this is an expensive hobby, and I got to start looking at this as a CEO. And, a lot of people take that as the title, the chief executive officer, but that means you are the visionary of the business, and that you've got to put the necessary plans in place in order to get to that next level. And as I talk about that, tell us more about what you feel is the next level outside of what you've already talked about, the TV show, podcast, the magazine. What's your next level for your adventure?
Absolutely. So our next level is that television and film component. So entertainment. So we are really taking set sports and entertainment today. So I've produced a few films. I want to do more of that. I want to be able to have some athletes in our films. And so I'm looking forward to that being the next level. So we have the print, we have digital, we have events, we have a cover dinner coming up. Each cover, our covers allow us. Taya Cooper had a fabulous cover dinner in Atlanta. NLE Choppa, who is a multi-platinum artist, also did a cover dinner. Actually, they presented him with a platinum plaque at that cover dinner in New York. And so Raheem Mostert and his wife, Devin, are gearing up. We have their cover dinner in Miami. And so I'm excited about that aspect, building out the events and the television and film portion of sports and entertainment today.
So if you had your choice of advertisers and event sponsors, who would they be?
Ooh. So right now because we have so many women, we're looking at, technology is a huge thing. So Samsung and T-Mobile letting us know, the future of the internet and staying connected with one another. And then women have such buying power. We're looking at, cars from Infinity. We had Bentley as an advertiser, and Lexus. So just looking at some of those car brands, women like a nice automobile too, right? And then of course beauty, that can run the gamut from fragrances to makeup to hair, right? Huge industry. And so those are some of the things that women love. So all of those different kinds of brands, we're looking at even high-end appliances, because we got to open that refrigerator every day, right? And so those are things that I foresee being a part of sports and entertainment today. I'll say our family.
Well, and that's how I would look at it from the family. As you have consumed the persona, let's say you are the persona, you've lived that life, so you know what the lifestyle is like of a NFL family, and you know what, as you look at the brands that you've been associated with over this journey, and start looking at, you know what, I need to get them in my magazine. I used to use this all the time. You
Bank
know what?
of America, Merrill Lynch, that whole finance part is major. We're looking at the statistics of NFL players that are going broke, and how many of them have been able to stay afloat because they had a smart wife beside them. How many of them have been able to recover? How many of them have been able to make wise moves? And so, yes, absolutely.
No, let's double down on that. That would be so cool. Open up the magazine and you start talking about financial empowerment, and you start to see, all right, financial planning. Because if you don't come from a seven-figure family, you don't usually know how to manage seven figures. And what does that look like? And how do you have your money make money? Having those opportunities, and I am sure, because I've been in that world as well, as far as the finance world. Financial empowerment is one of the big series on my Follow the Brand podcast, is that you now have an opportunity to reach that clientele. So I would figure your New York Lifes of the world, all your big, financial planners, even your smaller financial people, you're not even familiar with, your certified financial planners can now talk about why it's important, what the value is, and have that as a lane through your particular venue, whether it's in your magazine, on your podcast, your TV show, and they're willing to pay for access to that particular audience. I think you got a winning formula here.
Absolutely. I mean, we're looking at now, athletes are getting smarter. They're taking notes from the athletes that didn't make smart moves, right? So I absolutely, it's necessary. And, SET is a place where those Mass Mutuals and those, Prudentials have the opportunity to come in and share what they have going on so these athletes can make smart moves.
Yeah. And then when I turn the page, I see Rolls Royce. They're advertised in your magazine. And I turn another page, I see the private jet service. They're advertised in your magazine. And then, of course, you got to have, the jewelers and the Zales and all like that. But then having that to maintain success, and having that good, the thinking models, and just being able to then, I now have a desired content magazine, podcast, TV show that I can now call the shots. I don't have to go looking for advertisers and sponsors. They're looking for me because they want the access. Can you see that happening for you?
Absolutely. It is already.
Well, we want to continue down that particular road. And I want to and really shed light on this whole dynamic that's happening of this, I call early recruitment of our kids, and understanding the good, the bad of that, and how that moves forward. Just thinking about now, because obviously when I was in college, the kids weren't getting paid for college.
Yeah, no. Now with these NIL deals, these kids are buying their parents' houses in college, saying they don't even want to go to play professionally because they can make more money in college with their NIL deals than they would professionally.
Tell me, what is an NIL deal? To help us understand that.
So name, image, and likeness. So, there was a time where the players in college couldn't get paid. And so now they're able to leverage different brand deals and, make a million or two.
Or three. And I get that, because think about this in the college sports, especially one of these Power 5 schools. The coach makes 7+ figures. The school makes $1 billion. Some of these college programs are $1 billion. And these kids, yes, they get a 4-year ride, but considering how much money they're really making, especially on a star player, they're making millions and millions of dollars. So what you're saying with name, image, likeness, when I see, like I remember CJ Stroud playing for Ohio State, he got one of those, first contracts now. He's like, wow, this kid, he's driving around this really nice Mercedes Benz, but this is how it's being done. And I like that better than finding out that this great kid, can't even work at McDonald's because, because of this work study program type of thing. I'm sure when Samari was going to school, it was maybe a little different. Can you help us understand that?
A whole lot different. I mean, you look at players like Reggie Bush and what Reggie Bush had to go through, and just it is a new day. Now these kids they don't have to steal from Publix, right? Because there was that incident. So now they can make money and help to support their life in college and even give back to what's going on at home. Some of these kids come from dire straits.
I agree with you. So I like that gift back because that's only right. Because we live in a capitalistic society. Why would we penalize our kids? Or this is used to be looked at as some unfair advantage. You don't want to, pay the kids, but like, wow, this is not, a work camp. Because football is a very tough sport. So why not have them, participate and get paid, for what they're getting paid for? I think that's only right. I also want to talk about coaching. As you think about that, because there was always, especially in the diversity, equity, inclusion world, we're in the end of Black History Month. We haven't traditionally seen a lot of Black coaches in the NFL. That started to change. You're starting to see a lot more Black athletes play at the quarterback position, that type of thing. Even though you don't see it at the ownership level, what's your take on this change?
I mean, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's a long time coming, right? We're looking at Antonio Pierce, who is now, he just got hired by the Raiders. And then Sandra Douglas Morgan, who is the first Black woman president of an NFL team. So I think that the tide is starting to turn. We're really starting to see, Black coaches and ownership we're praying that, that looks a little different. There needs to be some Black NFL owners, right? So it's going to come. It's going to come. It's time.
It's time. And you're right. And I guess our time is near because Jada just chopped up. But this has been wonderful, Danisha. And before we let you go, and I'm sure Yada will ask you got to tell us how to get in touch with you.
Absolutely. So I am on LinkedIn, Danisha Roll. I am on Instagram, D_Roll. You can also follow Sports and Entertainment Today. So set_media. We have Women of the NFL. You can always reach out, shoot a message on either of those platforms.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you so much. That was definitely very informative. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm sure everyone that's watching or that is going to watch also enjoyed it. Before we let you go, I have a couple of questions. One of the questions is, do you offer any mentorship or anything of that sort?
Yes, just started with Florida A&M University with their journalism school. We have interns. We are always welcoming interns that want to try their hand in writing and public relations and events. So for sure.
Okay, that's really good to hear. And the last question will be, how does it feel to be such an influential woman in sports, especially a Black woman? How do you feel about that?
Ooh, how do I feel? I don't know that I've been called that before. So how does that feel? I mean, I guess I should embrace that, right? You're the first person, Jada Charles, to say that to me. I feel good.
I'm honored to be the first person to say that to you. So thank you so much for coming today. And we really enjoyed having you today on the show. Thank you.
I am so grateful that you guys at Grant invited me. I am Black business. I wake up Black business. I go to bed Black business. So absolutely, it's been an honor to join you all.
You are most welcome.
And Grant, how can we contact you or connect with you?
You can connect to me on 5-Star BDM. That is the number 5-Star. B for brand, D for development, and for masters.com.
Okay, thank you so much. Genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
The Black Business Expo's mission is to raise funds for high school seniors going to college or K-12 entrepreneurs. This expo is a fundraiser for students. You may go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to donate to the scholarship fund or use the Cash App that's on the screen below, BBXUSA. Our goal is to give laptops and up to $5,000 to 10 students. Students can register online at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Every dollar counts, so we want to remind you to donate to the scholarship fund. We want to thank our Black Business Expo USA sponsors for February 2024, NC100, Moody Capital Partners, Suede Soul, Lotus Reach Coaching and Training, Carolina, Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council, Step Management, Barbara H. Smith LLC, The Hello LLC, 5-Star BDM Media, Margie McLean Foundation Inc., Genius is Common, Earth Essentials, Malaine Shani Global, Executive Women Success Institute, The Quality Coaching Company, Superwoman Business Services, Creative Force Studios, Lee Entertainment, Artistic App Design, and finally, Black Business Expo USA. Genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side.
I am a child of the Most High God. He has gifted me in ways that I could not even imagine and didn't know.
There was a time when I didn't know who I was. I listened to other people tell me who I should be, what I should do. I listened to people telling me that I should be a boutique owner, that I should be a construction manager, that I should be a laborer. Have you ever felt like you should do something else, be something else, go somewhere else, be wherever you wanted to be, and you felt like you were in a box? Anybody in the room? And you couldn't get out? Anybody in the room? And you kept trying to go and you couldn't get out? Anybody in the room? But let me tell you, you need to rock the box. Rock the box.
I am engaging, inspiring, and empowering. I would give you everything I know. Just by touching you, if I could, by osmosis, give you every single thing I've learned, I've gone through, I know I would. We know that's not possible, but as it is possible, I love to share information with people.
Some of you out there, people have told you that you can't be, you can't have, you can't do. But I will tell you, like Kinston said, you can, you must, and you will. If it's to be, it's going to be me. You got to say it. If it's to be, it's going to be. If it's to be, it's going to be. If it's to be, it's going to be.
Barbara is because she believed what her mama said about her and not what other people told her.
Every day you wake up, when you're in a situation, it's your choice whether it's an advantage or the disadvantage.
She gained her confidence and her life, and now she is a testimony.
If I can help you elevate yourself, then I feel like I'm elevating my own self as well. What you know and I know together can change the world.
Did you know women represent just 3% of Fortune 500 CEOs and less than 15% of corporate executives at top companies worldwide? Have you wondered what the secrets are to getting into the top ranks, whether in the private or public sector? Do you want to figure out how to stop being held back in your career or passed over for promotion? Then you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, President and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. I have decades of experience in the military, the federal government, and corporate America, and my mission is to help women succeed and tap into their full potential. I want to reach 1 million plus women around the world to become the leaders they are meant to be. So if you want to move into a management or executive level position, or maybe you are a female veteran transitioning out of the military into business entrepreneurship, then reach out to the Executive Women's Success Institute at 301-693-3284. Let us get you on the fast track to success. Hello, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, President and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. And my genius is helping women accelerate the path to success. You know, I was blessed to have strong women in my life who encouraged, motivated, and pushed me to do my best and to never even think about giving up on my dreams. So I say to women, we must show up to rise up. We have talents and potential, but who will see them if we don't speak up and get noticed? I know that women are a tremendous resource on this planet, and there is nothing more fulfilling than helping a woman tap into her full potential. I do this because I want to be a part of helping as many women as I can to show up, to rise up. I do this because genius is common.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support, where health education is abundant, where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City USA. It is what every city should be. A safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being, with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
Good day, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and corporations. Welcome to the Black Business Network. My name is Jada Charles, and I am from Guyana. I am your business moderator for this evening on the Black Business Network. The Black Business Network is a 24-hour business network showcasing Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders worldwide. We have speakers from North Carolina, London, Singapore, Africa, Japan, and cities all over the United States. The Black Business Network is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, inspire, and educate businesses about business. Our next speaker is Andrea Adams. She dives into life fully through the exploration of new experiences with adventures fueled by curiosity and love. Skydiving, scuba diving, horseback riding, coasters, motorbikes, gormandizing, big city lights picture taking, nature views, and high heel shoes are a few of her favorite things. Also, a lover of books, this avid reader is the co-founder of KEG Book Club, KEG Kids Book Club, and KEG Tweens Book Club, and a podcast called BABBLE with me. This speaker, coach, mentor, radio, and television host Power Voice was unleashed after receiving mentorship from Les Brown. Andrea was also mentored to think into results by John Tallarico and uses his experience through role modeling and self-expression to empower youth to develop public speaking skills, access their inner self-talk, change their mindset, and transform their lives by improving their relationship with themselves and others. Mother and entrepreneur are some titles that this Guyanese-born multi-best-selling author owns. She advocates 821.org, whose mission is to end modern-day slavery and human trafficking. She is the founder of Adornami LLC and Ordami Learning Institute, Global Kids Speak Oratory Club, and Caribbean Things by Adornami. I present to you Andrea Adams.
Thank you so much, Jada. Thank you for that grand welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I am doing well today. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. Now, can you tell us about the Global Kids Speak Oratory Club and its mission?
Oh, most definitely. So Global Kids Speak, I would say it's a club that was founded by me. Its mission is to leave a global footprint on the lives of youths. Its mission is to help youths to develop strong communication skills. And when I say strong communication skills, these are first with themselves, to understand the importance of having great self-talk, great personal relationship with self, because we believe, and I also believe, that once a youth or any being have a great relationship with themselves, by extension, they will have great relationship with others that they come into contact with. So that's our primary mission.
Okay, that's definitely amazing. Now, what motivated you to establish the GKS Club?
My motivation was based on my own personal experience. When, as a child, I encountered abuse. And with that, one of the things that it left me with is the inability to speak up. That inability to speak actually transitioned to my adult life, and I found myself being afraid to represent myself, being afraid to speak up, losing self confidence, not having a good self talk. So, my inspiration was to, when I was given that opportunity to be able to unleash my power voice, I thought to myself, hey, I need to be able to equip and empower others with this opportunity. And I understand the importance of knowing that at a younger age. It gives you a fair advantage. It gives a youth a propelled advantage to be able to represent themselves, to speak up, and to understand you don't need to be afraid of anyone. You have a story. You just have to be confident, understand that you are wonderful, you're beautiful in who you are, and go from there. So that was my inspiration in forming Global Kids Speak.
That was definitely inspiring, and I'm really glad that you overcame that. And I'm sure everyone that's in the club is appreciative to be mentored by such a brave and inspiring person. Now, how many years has the GKS club been in operation, and how has it evolved over time?
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for that question. So this is year 3. We're still so pretty much young. However, I've had some students who've been with me from year 1. And I can tell you, I literally have seen transformation in their lives. I believe that the experience of being able to go out there and unleash your voice and understand that you're heard, and also get the opportunity to express yourself publicly, not just teaching, because many platforms we teach, but we are unable to literally go out there and express ourselves in person. It's a different thing when you're taught something by theory versus when you're able to actually go out there like you are now to really and truly experience what it is firsthand.
That's so true. I think the experience is very useful, not only in your life presently, but it'll also be useful down the line. Um, in your opinion, why is it crucial for parents to encourage their children to develop public speaking skills?
Wow, I really deeply believe that it's imperative that every child, it should be definitely in every school, public speaking as part of the curriculum. Because first of all, we always have to represent ourselves. And when you're in a public speaking program, one of the things that you tend to learn is that that first 7 seconds that someone is introduced to you is the most crucial. That's when people, unfortunately, but it's just human nature, we get an idea of what we think of a person based maybe on their experience, maybe how they spoke, their body language, whether it's a verbal or non-verbal cue. But we develop an entire idea within 7 seconds, whether or not we like someone or we just get an overall feeling and a judgment. So I believe that it's important that parents ensure that their child is exposed to public speaking, because public speaking has so many benefits. It helps to build confidence. It helps with critical thinking. It helps your child to be able to think on their feet. It also involves lots of research, because in programs within public speaking, whenever you're speaking, you have to understand the material that you're speaking about, maybe understand the audience you're speaking to. And as a public speaker, you would definitely be forced to do research. It also helps with your writing skills, because there are times when you're impromptu and you just have to speak, but then there are other times, especially in academic settings, where you definitely have to do research. I could go on for the entire day as to the many reasons why it's important that your child is part of a public speaking program. The benefits are unlimited. So, what I will say at this time, just whoever it is, wherever you are, ensure that your child gets that opportunity. Because think about it, when you go out into the world of work, what's the first thing that you got to do? You get an interview. And if you don't have experience with speaking, representing yourself, introducing yourself, and understanding who you are, How are you going to be able to nail interviews if your child is going into college? Many times they're on panels where they have to speak and represent themselves. Sometimes you have to do presentations even before then. You get the opportunity to learn how to present and to prepare. One of the main things that we say, Jada, you can remember at the end of every class session, we say
Proper preparation prevents poor
prevents poor
performance.
performance. Exactly. So you're able to be equipped with proper preparation for whatever it is that you have to do.
Yes, definitely. W- Are you the sole mentor or do you have a team of mentors?
Good question. Love that. We do have a team of mentors, very beautiful mentors. I've had a few mentors over the past few years, and I can tell you, guaranteed, the ones that are not with us, it's only because of life changes. We had a mentor from South Africa. She loved the kids so much. She got up at 1 a.m. to teach class every Wednesday night, or which would have been Thursday morning for her. We do have mentors. They're all volunteer. We all are in this mainly for heart because we love the youths. We love speaking and we understand the importance of giving that gift. So there are a few of us right now. We have four mentors in total, including myself, all professionally trained either by some of the nation's best. Some of them would have been trained through what's the name of it? It's not coming to me. Toastmasters International. So we have mentors who are passionate, who not just only talk the talk, they're active speakers. So your child is actually being trained by people who are passionate about what they do and they're walking the walk and talking the talk.
For sure. I'm sure parents are very appreciative of this. Now, what age groups do you cater to in your public speaking programs?
Well, we originally started at the age 7. That's the first and the second year, opening it for age 7 to 18 years old. However, I've been getting numerous requests from parents there asking if their child can start at 5. So I've really lowered the age to 5, so it's now 5 to 18 years old. However, in my opinion and from my experience, it's better when your child is at least 7 because at that time they understand writing a little bit better because what we do is actually have the children prepare their pieces. At the end of the day, it's what they feel inside. We only guide, but they're the ones, it's their voices, so they're able to speak. And at 5 years old, it takes a little bit more time to be able to get that out of a child. And Jada, you are currently one of our student mentors, and you've worked already with the younger ones, and you can see it takes a little bit more work to work with the younger ones than the older kids.
Definitely. But it's really great that you're helping children to establish their public speaking skills from as young as 7. That's absolutely amazing. For those interested in becoming mentors, what is the process to join the GKS Club?
Okay, so it's pretty easy. You just have to be willing to volunteer. And of course, you would have to show me your experience and your knowledge as it comes to public speaking. I will, I usually do training in terms of giving a guidance on what is expected. But the good thing about being a mentor at Global Kids Speak is that we don't have this stringent policy where, oh, you have to do it this way. What I do, I give guidelines to the mentors, but everybody's speaking style is different and every student is different. So we just have that general overall guidance as to what is expected. At the end of this week, we expect the children to understand this. But here, what's a good thing? You can use your own style. You know your students, so you know how to get your messages over. So our mentors, it's easy. You just come on board, you volunteer, you fill out the volunteer form, and once there is availability in terms of classrooms and students available, yes, it's something that I will definitely consider after vetting you. It's pretty easy.
Great. Now, are there any scholarship opportunities available for participants?
Of course, because Global Kids Speak is more of a heart project for me. And for me, just growing up in the Caribbean and understanding what poverty is and understanding how hard it is to want simple things. You have that desire to learn more and do more, but you just don't have the financial resources. For me, it's with behind that I carry the program. So I do scholarships. I am currently the co-chair for my school, St. Roses, which you attended. I'm currently the co-chair for which your mom attended. Sorry, I can't remember what school you did. Just let me apologize about that. But I'm currently the co-chair for their project planning committee, and I last year I was the assistant secretary for the board, and we do a lot of projects for our old school. So one of the commitments I've made is to ensure that every year 5 students they from my old school they're part of my program for 1 year. So every year I give 5 students the opportunity to be on board. I have a few other organizations that I've teamed up with that they do have students that are on board on scholarships. So yes, scholarships are available, and I do a lottery every year, and that's just something I go on social media with, and I put up the form, the link, and once 5 persons, once I get persons to apply, what I do is do a random selection for 5 students to come on. So yes, it's all about giving. I said global. Maybe in certain areas parents might find it easier to be able to afford the program, whereas other areas it's not so affordable because of the resources that are available. So I want to ensure that once you have at least access to a computer, you can come onto my program and get that opportunity to speak internationally and to be able to learn the art of public speaking.
That is definitely amazing that you're not discrediting those who aren't financially stable enough to, you know, apply for the program. So that's very good. Besides the Oratory Club, do you offer any other programs?
Yes, I do have what my dream and overall vision for Global Kids Speak is to have a debate program and also a spelling bee program. The only reason why I have not taken those projects off the floor is because I have not had enough interest to create an entire classroom for it. I wouldn't do it until I have enough interest. I keep pushing it, but everybody is more or less so more interested in the public speaking right now. So I am pushing that. I'm also working on connecting with someone because one of the things I'm so passionate about is reading. I have been it's something that I want to offer. I've wanted to offer for a very long time, but I wasn't sure how to go about it. But a reading program will be definitely launched this year, somehow or the other. I am just in the process of finding a means of going through the training so that when I am able to retrain, that I'll be retraining with that background from an academic point of view. But I am also the founder, as you would have read earlier, of KEG Book Club. KEG means reading for knowledge, empowerment, and growth. This is the KEG Book Club was formed in 2020, so this is 4 years. The book club has been going, and I am an avid reader, and I understand the importance of reading because reading really helps to expand our vocabulary. And I understand that a lot of children are behind in reading. So I am very passionate about all forms of communication for children, of course, and reading will be definitely the next program that will be launched very shortly.
That's great. As a fellow passionate reader myself, I'm very excited to hear about this. When is the enrollment period for those interested in joining the club?
Great question. So enrollment usually is between late December to 31st March. During that time, that's 2 enrollment periods that I have, and the other one is about the 15th, mid-July, mid-August to September 30th. And the reason why I do a close off at the 31st of March and also 30th of September, if you come in anytime, January, February, or during March, you can easily catch up with the program. It's nothing difficult. However, because we prepare our students for a competition in June, and then again, we prepare our students for another competition in December, if you come in April, we only have April and May to work with you. So it makes it really difficult for you to grasp it and really be prepared because our competition is live on radio. Usually we go with WBNC radio, and it's a large audience, and your posters, your flyers, everything is usually all over social media. So we have people who are coming in to listen to the children present. So we really do want to ensure that they're ready. So we close accepting persons 31st March and also on the 30th of September.
Okay, now I know a lot of the students that will join will probably expect something to signify their completion of the program. So, can participants expect to receive a certification upon completing the program?
Yes, they will receive a certification showing that they participated in the program only if they've completed the year. So it's only done once a year. So if a student come in and they drop out in 6 months, no, they're not going to get the certification. They have to stay for the entire academic year.
Okay. What is the recommended duration for a child to stay in the GKS program to maximize its benefits?
I always say public speaking is like a muscle. If we're exercising and we stop exercising, guess what happens? We lose our muscles. So it is with public speaking. Public speaking is something that I believe that people should be actively engaged in, especially if they're pursuing certain careers, etc. I would recommend a child continuously remain enrolled in the program because there you always learn something new. And for me, I learned from speaking. Like yesterday, I was listening to someone being interviewed, and she had so many great nuggets, and it was even more things that was added to my knowledge because as we go on in terms of public speaking, there's always more to learn. We become better public speakers. It's no two situations are ever the same. No two conversations are ever the same. So it's a learning process. We encourage the parents to keep your students enrolled continuously as long as they're in school and they're going through their academics. It's a great muscle to continue to build. It will really and truly help them when they're ready to go into the world, and depends on what career they choose, they can decide if they want to participate in other programs.
Definitely, public speaking is definitely essential every day and in whatever you do, I think. So it's really great that you're giving children or students an opportunity to better their public speaking skills. How frequently do you organize oratory competitions for the children?
So we do it twice a year, June and December. It's usually one of the things why I'm smiling at it because I've one of the other things that people don't understand, we can speak all the time, but they say that public speaking is one of the world's greatest fears. I was reading a book, I think it's Tony Robbins or John Maxwell, can't remember. I think it's John Maxwell. He was saying that there are people who've been asked to present a eulogy, and sometimes they prefer to be in the grave rather than to present that. That's because we're always so afraid. And I tell my kids, I say, don't get the nerves because sometimes they're presenting so great in the day of the competition because they know they're on radio. You can hear the difference, but they do all well. So I'm just so excited about the competitions. It's twice a year, June and December. This year it's June 8th. And usually it's free to join. You just have to purchase your ticket on Eventbrite, and you will get the information and you can join on and listen to the beautiful voices.
I myself, I'm definitely excited as well. So, could you provide some insights into the topics that the children usually address in their speeches or typically address?
Yes, certainly. It's limitless. We believe that children are individuals. They have their own dreams. Everybody have their own desires, and they get an outlet to speak on whatever they're fueled about. So we have different categories in which we recommend, because most of the speeches that someone would present fall into some category. So for example, we have a category called declamation. Declamation is just basically, in a nutshell, resaying the famous speech, a famous speech. So one of the most popular speeches that comes up on most competitions is the Martin Luther King Jr. I Have a Dream speech. A lot of people like to say the Barack Obama inaugural speech. That's one category. So you would basically, they're asked to introduce themselves and then to present. And we have so many other areas. Some people do poems. We have oral presentation of poetry. We have dramatic presentation of poetry. We have oral presentation of poise. We have so many different categories. You can do original art, oratory, or demonstration. So there's so many ways depending on what that student want. What we do sometimes, we reduce the categories depending on the season. Right now we're in our spring season, so we may take out a category next term and put in another one. I don't know yet, but they have the opportunity to speak on anything that their heart desires.
Okay, well, that's great. That gives students a chance to express themselves. Now, what specific skills and knowledge do children acquire throughout your oratory program?
Amazing. They learn how to articulate. They learn the importance of using intonation, being able to raise their voice and lower their voice and draw in the audience. They understand and they learn the importance of making a first impression, that lasting impression. They learn skills for presentation. They learn the importance of sitting a certain way and representing. They learn teamwork. We do a lot of stuff that is teamwork oriented. They learn the importance of verbal, nonverbal communication. The list goes on. They understand the importance of pause fillers. Why use a pause fillers when we can just simply take a minute and be silent? So they acquire so many skills. And as I say, we do stuff like word of the week, where they learn different parts of speech, and it's amazing. They learn the importance of pitching their voice, and it goes on. But it's a full curriculum, and it's done in a fun way, not in a way, well, oh, you got page 1, page 2, page 3. No, we teach it in a gradual and lovely way.
That is amazing. If I were a parent, I would definitely want my child to join after hearing about all the spectacular things that you can benefit from when you're in the club. And I myself, as a club member, also encourage those watching, if you're a child or if you're a parent, to join and really experience what it's like. It's definitely amazing and it's a life changing experience. So, thank you so much for coming today. It was definitely wonderful having you here. And we hope to see more new faces in the club. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jada, for having me.
Genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side. The Black Business Expo's mission is to raise funds for high school seniors going to college or K-12 entrepreneurs. This expo is a fundraiser for students. You may go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to donate to the scholarship fund or use the cash app that's on the screen below, BBXUSA. Our goal is to give laptops and up to $5,000 to 10 students. Students can register online at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Every dollar counts, so we want to remind you to donate to the scholarship fund. We want to thank our Black Business Expo USA sponsors for February 2024. NC100, Moody Capital Partners, Suede Soul, Lotus Reach Coaching and Training, Carolina Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council, Step Management, Barbara H. Smith LLC, The Hello LLC, 5-Star BDM Media, Margie McLean Foundation Inc., Genius is Common, Earth Essentials, Malayan Shani Global, Executive Women Success Institute, The Quality Coaching Company, Superwoman Business Services, Creative Force Studios, Lee Entertainment, Artistic App Design, and Black Business Expo USA. Genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side.
The Black Business Network and Black Business Olympics are essential platforms for Black business owners globally. They provide the tools and support you need to succeed in today's competitive marketplace. Join us today as we collaborate together with businesses from around the world to support our children, students, and young future entrepreneurs, Black businesses, and corporations. We raise funds for students going to college and young entrepreneurs who are aspiring to be business owners, and we invite you to be a contributor today. Visit the website www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to connect with and learn more about how the Black Business Network and Black Business Olympics can help you not only share your amazing business story to businesses, but also serve future generations. Hello, my name is David Jones, CEO and co-founder of the Hello LLC, where we help businesses build a culture, brand and experience, and leverage technology to pivot into Web3. Join the Black Business Network streaming live into Roku, Metaverse, STEM City, Black Multiverse Enterprises, Hulu, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple, Facebook, LinkedIn, Spotify, Twitch, and Google Podcasts. Tune in, turn on, and let's thrive.
Prepare for what's coming and dominate in economic winter. Stand strong and thrive by showcasing your great products and services globally through the Black Business Network and Black Business Olympics. The Black Business Network has showcased over 2,000 companies with over $7 billion in sales each year. Over 10 million attendees have viewed the rebroadcast each month. Through the Black Business Olympics, unique styles of business training and mentoring are turning students into business owners and entrepreneurial warriors who will dominate in any economy. Gain the ultimate advantage of the Black Business Olympics, 7 days of unbelievable topics and speakers speaking around the globe. Donate your time and experience to provide expertise and scholarships to students worldwide and change the world. Now, more than ever, new insights, tools, strategies, and capabilities are needed. This is your chance for a major presentation to the world. Fill out the form and join the more than 2,000 speakers who have presented to over 200 countries. Join the Black Business Network streaming live into the Metaverse, STEM City, Black Multiverse Enterprises, Hulu, Amazon, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pod TV, IBM TV, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Sign up today. Spaces are limited, and we will see you there.
The Black Business Expo's mission is to raise funds for high school seniors going to college or K-12 entrepreneurs. This expo is a fundraiser for students. Please, you may go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to donate to the scholarship fund or use the Cash App at $BBXUSA. Our goal is to give laptops and up to $5,000 to 10 students. Students can register online at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Every dollar counts. Please donate to the Black Business Expo USA Scholarship Fund.
Sometimes you got to hear the news from the Black perspective, and more specifically, Black publishers. And that's exactly why you have to download the Hey Tie app, the largest mobile app delivering breaking news, videos, and podcasts from 200 of your favorite Black publishers. Yes, 200 Black publishers delivering news as it happens, literally all in one app. Go to hayti.com or download the app in the Google Play Store or Apple App Store. It's completely free, along with information that you can trust, so go check them out.
Social media is evolving. It's more vibrant, more colorful, more energetic, and so are you. It's not just photos anymore. It's video, it's audio, it's subscriptions. And now there's Fanbase, a new monetized social network. Fanbase delivers the complete native app experience with full content monetization for every user. No algorithms that shadow ban your engagement or growth, and no ads. Follow anyone for free and subscribe directly to your favorite creators for $4.99 a month. Plus, show some love by tipping on any post. Also, make a Fanbase page and monetize your content the same way. Finally, connect with your followers by posting the amazing content you already create. And now, get paid for it. It's time to energize and monetize, because everyone's a fan of something and everyone has a fan base.
I am from Washington, D.C., but I was raised in Durham, North Carolina. I came to Durham when I was about 5 or 6. And then I traveled back and forth to D.C. because it's where my people are from. One of the unique things about my family is my mother, she's also an artist. She does quilting. And she does a lot of artistic things. And then my son, he draws with both hands, his right hand and his left hand like I do. So that's kind of a family trait. And then my other son, he's a videographer, and my daughter, she works, she's a regional vice president for Sunglass Lab. When you start out drawing and sketching, you want to continue to explore, each avenue. I do pastels, I do pen and ink, I do painting, I do acrylics. I haven't done oils yet. But I try to do all facets of art. What I say to a lot of times to people is, you can't put yourself in a box when you're an artist. You have to explore. And over the course of my life, I've tried to explore different mediums. I also do sculpture as well. I choose my subjects by the intensity that they have in their faces or the intensity that somebody is moving, because I do more than portrait drawings. I also do I do abstract, and then I do figurative drawing also. Well, what happened in this particular show is that I started out trying to come up with something that would be a little bit different than what everybody else is doing. So I was working on a Barack Obama show, and they wanted me to do some paintings of Barack. And so what I did was, because of the deadlines, I kind of did it kind of fast. And then I realized when I was doing it fast, I enjoyed it. And so then I started doing other pieces the same way, and I started to enjoy those pieces also. And so I came up with this particular style. And it's a style of lines and colors. And what's interesting is that when I was in college, I did a show called Lines, Colors, and I talked about the boldness of the blacks, the hotness of the whites, and this is how this has come about, later on in my life. And the colors comes from a lot of the entertainers that I work with, where they wear different colors. They don't wear, your plain reds or your whites. They wear different colors, and so that's also another piece of what's giving me the colors. The subtitle of this show is Faces That Speak Life. That's real critical. Faces that speak life. Each one of these pieces is a life source and a life energy that's being put on display for people that are looking at them. I always say in terms of my art, it's not important that I draw them. It's important what you get out of what I draw. I don't try to just draw it because you like it. People wanted me to do prints. I didn't do prints. People asked me to do different people, but the people that I choose are people that make a difference in the lives of people in the world. So the human landscape idea was, again, as I say, the lines represent your emotions, it represents your ideas, and it represents your journey as a human being. And that's why you get the different pieces and the different looks. And as you notice, I try not to do one look that looks alike another look. And that's what's the most important part of the art. To me is a creative expression of something from nothing. You know, it explodes onto the canvas, or it explodes on in my work. One of the things that I try to do more than anything is I try to just give the lines and the movements and emotions and expressions into what I do. Art really means to me a chance to express how I feel deep down inside. Most of my art begins as a thought that I might have, you know, whether it's sports, whether it's history, whether it's a woman or a man. It pretty much starts as an idea of thought before I get into the actual image of what I'm going to draw. I do a lot of historical pieces. I was a history minor in college, and I love to do history pieces. And a lot of times I'm thinking about history, and then I try to make that history impact you as you look at it. That's one of the reasons I do pictures so large. People ask me, why do I do pictures so big? And I tell them, I want the piece to impact them as they're looking at it. To kind of dominate them, dominate their space. And most of my pieces I try to do off page. I don't try to do anything that's going to be in those four corners or in a square. And I want your imagination to be a part of the piece that you're looking at.
What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support. Where health education is abundant. Where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City USA. It is what every city should be. A safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
Hello, I am Dr. Eric Kelly III, the visionary strategist and founder of the Black Business Olympics. I invite you to showcase your Black-owned businesses on the Black Business Network global stage. The Black Business Olympics is a global Black Business Network platform that propels Black-owned businesses into the international spotlight. By showcasing your business on the Black Business Olympics platform, you can reach a worldwide audience of potential customers, partners, and investors. You can also establish yourself as a thought leader, an expert in your field, attract lucrative partnerships, and more speaking engagements. In addition, the Black Business Olympics platform provides a valuable opportunity to connect and collaborate with like-minded entrepreneurs and business professionals from around the world. This can lead to new business opportunities ideas, and relationships. Finally, by sharing your story and expertise on the Black Business Olympics platform, you can inspire and empower others. This is a powerful way to make a positive impact on the world and leave a lasting legacy. If you are a Black-owned business owner, I encourage you to seize the opportunity to showcase your business on the Black Business Olympics platform. It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make an indelible mark on the world. Be one of the 1,000 visionary entrepreneurs who are changing students' lives, shaping industries, and leaving an unforgettable legacy for their families. Unleash your voice on our global stage and watch your business thrive. Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. Yes, the entire world. Just give me a call today at 919-308-9090.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black business. I am Black business. Tell me, are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black business.
Good day, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and corporations. Welcome to the Black Business Network. My name is Jada Charles, and I am from Guyana. I'm your business moderator for this evening on the Black Business Network. The Black Business Network is a 24-hour business network showcasing Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders worldwide. We have speakers from North Carolina, London, Singapore, Africa, Japan, and cities all over the United States. The Black Business Network is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, inspire, and educate businesses about business. Our next speaker is Henry Ward. As Chief Operating Officer of BDirect, the nation's first US-based African-centric corporate board preparedness and board search company, Henry Ward's responsibilities are very broad in scope, ranging from strategic planning and new product development to sales, financial planning, and overall P&L leadership. Ward has served as one of the company's top 3 executives since its founding in late 2020. Ward's professional background is very deeply rooted in growing domestic and global businesses. Prior to BDirect, Ward served as General Manager, Healthcare Vertical at Fears, Inc., a global fintech company where he held overall responsibility for all strategic, commercial, and operational initiatives for the 100 million plus technology line of business providing software as a service billing and payment solutions. Prior to Fiserv, Ward served as Head of Product Management, Global Consumer Solutions at Equifax Inc., with overall responsibility for revenue generation, new product development, and product platform lifecycle management for the 400 million plus fintech business unit providing software as a service credit monitoring solutions. Ward also served as Global Vice President, Verint Systems Inc., with P&L ownership of Verint's $700 million global business unit providing software as a service customer engagement solutions across multiple vertical markets. In addition, Ward's professional career includes McKesson Corporation, where he served as Director, Product Management, and Business Unit Strategy Leader. Ward's earlier career encompasses leadership roles at U.S. Bank, as well as 17 years at General Electric Co. in various roles of increasing responsibility. Ward is a member of Private Directors Association, a national organization whose mission is to connect board-ready executives and current board directors with privately held companies for U.S. board consideration. He holds a BSBA in Information Systems from Xavier University, Cincinnati, Ohio, and a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt certification from General Electric Co. I present to you Henry Ward.
Hi, Jada. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks so much for that introduction.
You're very welcome. Genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Hey.
Grant, how are you?
I am the good Henry Ward. It's always a pleasure to meet with you because I know it's our time to have a conversation.
The pleasure is mine. The pleasure is definitely mine.
So let's start. There are others. There are lots of people out there. We are in 2024, may or may not be aware of BDirect. I want to talk about the founding vision of BDirect, and more specifically, how it aligns with the current trends in corporate government, especially in the African-centric perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So first of all, BDirect is the first US-based but African-centric corporate board preparedness and board search company. Our focus is to take US Black executives at the vice president to C-suite level, as well as Black entrepreneurs, and train them for corporate board governance work on the African continent. We actually have a 8-month long program in which we take the through a training process in which they will meet once per month for 4 hours each. And in that 4-hour training, they get 2 different sides of their training. One is the corporate governance piece, and the other one is the cultural dexterity piece. And we'll spend a little bit more time on the corporate governance piece in a few minutes, but just to kind of give our viewers an overall understanding of kind of who BDirect is. So we spend time both on corporate governance and on cultural dexterity, because the reality is you cannot take a Western trained person, and whether we like it or not, we are Western trained, regardless of the amount of melanin in our skin. So you can't take a Western trained person, place them on a different continent and a different country and expect them to be successful, because they just won't. And so we spend as much time talking about cultural dexterity as we do talking about corporate governance. In addition to that, as a part of this program, each person who goes through our 8-month training program is assigned an executive coach. And that executive coach is someone who actually lives on the African continent, who is a certified international executive coach. But what makes it different is that they are a certified executive coach with domain knowledge regarding corporate governance. And so these folks are currently working with board of directors on the African continent. And so you get that real life experience, both from a classroom perspective with the corporate governance training and cultural dexterity training, as well as the executive coaching piece. In addition to that, and what also makes us very unique, is that while the cohort is going through their 8-month training program, we are actually working as a executive search firm on their behalf. So we are working with venture capitalists and private equity firms and public and private companies on the African continent to actually match the skill sets with the folks that we have going through the corporate training program, the leadership training program, with the skills that are needed for the corporate board. And so it's a very encompassing project and a very encompassing program. And lastly, before I drill down even more on the corporate governance side, for those that have not had an opportunity to travel to the African continent, either for business or pleasure, we offer what we call our immersion program. And that immersion program is a 5 to 7 day trip in which, and it's optional, but recommended specifically for those that have never been to the continent. It's a trip in which we actually take cohort members over to the continent. So we'll take them to Ghana or to South Africa or to Kenya, and they'll spend actually 5 to 7 days, as we like to say, seeing Africa from African soil. So they'll get a chance to actually meet with business leaders on the African continent, as well as kind of do some of the traditional tourist things as well. So that kind of gives our viewers just kind of an overall view of who Be Direct is and what we do. Now, specific to your question regarding corporate governance, we do spend a lot of time talking about corporate governance. And for those who may have been or may currently be sitting on nonprofit boards, you know something about governance yourself in terms of, you know, how standard meetings are run, and you have, you know, normal committees as a part of your nonprofit organization. With corporate boards, there are three primarily standing committees. There is the audit committee, there is the nominating committee, and there is the compensation committee. And I'll kind of go through each one of those. The audit committee usually is one of the most important committees of any corporate board. And the role of the audit committee basically is to ensure that the organization is following all of the standard financial practices of that country, and also to ensure that there is financial due diligence and financial rigor in place regarding financial reporting, whether that is for a publicly traded company or for a privately held company. There's always going to be an audit committee as a part of the corporate board structure. And usually it is the CFO that is reporting to the board and reporting to the audit committee. So the audit committee has responsibility for working with that CFO to ensure all of the books, if you were, are audited appropriately, and all of the financial reporting, whether it be government reporting or any other reporting, is done properly and in right order. The next committee is the nominating committee. Some boards have nominating committees and some don't. But the purpose of the nominating committee is actually to nominate independent boards of directors. And I'll later in our conversation, we'll go through what's the difference between an independent director and a executive director. But the nominating committee has a responsibility for actually vetting all candidates for the board who will come before the board for nomination. And there are, you know, multiple criteria. Each board of directors has its own criteria that it uses for who will be a good board member. But usually it is the nominating committee who has responsibility for kind of curating all of the folks who would be potential board members, and then taking them through the interview process to actually become a corporate board director. The third committee, standing committee, and these are all what we call standing committees. So you've got audit committee, you've got nominating committee, and the third committee is the compensation committee. And if you are an executive, and particularly if you are a C-suite member of any corporation, you want to make sure you are friendly to everyone who sits on that compensation committee.
Yeah.
Because those folks have responsibility for putting together your pay package. So the compensation committee actually has responsibility for deciding how the executive leadership team, how those C-suite executives from the CEO and their direct reports, the compensation committee has responsibility for setting the compensation for those folks. And usually the compensation package includes base pay plus whatever the bonus structure is going to be. And, you know, with many of these roles, the bonus structure may be anything from 50% of base pay all the way to 100% of base pay. And in addition to that, equity. And so what we mean by equity is, you know, if you're a publicly traded company, it is the value of the stock, right? And so normally a part of any compensation role for an executive is you have actually equity in the company in which you can then over a period of time, which is called vesting. And, you know, many times these stocks will vest over a, 2 to 3 year period of time. It's also called long-term compensation because it's a way of having the executive invest in the company and get a return from their work. And so many times these stocks, if you will vest over a 2 to 3 year period. And at that point, the executive can choose to execute that stock to add additional compensation to their paychecks. So again, very important piece of the board role and the board governance role is compensation, because literally those are the folks that set the payment terms for the C-suite. I'll stop here and catch my breath and let you ask them some additional questions. And then I'd like to actually talk about kind of what the differences are between a non-executive director and an executive director.
I think that's all very important. I want my audience to understand some of these conversations that you may not be aware of and how these boards, corporate boards, obviously operate. And you have those three things. Very important to understand audit. Very important to understand the nominating committee. Very important to understand compensation. I am curious to understand, is there a technology committee, and maybe it's a subcommittee, maybe it's not there. How does that operate? I'm sure you'll get into that, like the differences between what we call the American corporate board system. And then I'm sure you're probably talking about more publicly traded companies.
Absolutely.
That have board structures, what that looks like. And we all know, you don't always have the right, when it comes from a demographic perspective, that you have representation, whether it's women, other people of color on these certain boards, but they're very, very important because it drives the behavior of the company, and then how they operate on the African continent. What does that look like? And they have different makeups as well from a country perspective, different interests that are there that might be outside of the continent of itself, and then understanding the culture of how all these things look. So that's what I want to understand. You're going to get into that, the difference. If you've been on a corporate board or you got some kind of training to be in a corporate board from an American perspective, but how is that different? And what is the secret sauce that Be Direct gives that you don't get traditionally in board governance training?
Absolutely. All great questions, by the way. So I'll take your first question first. So usually there are subcommittees that come under those kind of three standing committees, and whether that's kind of cybersecurity or technology, usually that comes under the audit committee. So you'll have an audit committee who has overall financial responsibility for financial reporting, but then you'll have, your C-suite chief technology officer or chief security officer that will also report to the audit committee regarding things like technology, regarding security, and regarding other things like that. So usually those other types of roles come under audit committee. Where you brought up the differentiation between U.S. corporate board work and corporate governance on other continents, and you're absolutely right. There is a difference. So when we look at U.S. corporate governance, it's primarily focused on regulation and compliance. So if you are a publicly traded company, you've got Sarbanes-Oxley, right, to deal with. It's also called SOX compliance. If you are a publicly traded company, you also have to deal with the Security and Exchange Commission, right? All companies have to deal with, making sure that they are, that their accounting is GAAP compliant. And GAAP stands for General Accounting Principles. So all of that is from a U.S. perspective. Now, on the African continent, regulatory compliance is also a piece of it. But in addition to that, most companies on the African continent follow what is called the King 4 methodology. And that's Roman numeral 4. And it's Roman numeral 4 because it's kind of the fourth generation of the King corporate board governance methodology training. And so King 4 kind of takes into consideration U.S. Corporate board governance training. It also takes into account British corporate board governance training, and it tries to kind of meld them both together to get a best of both worlds. And so what you see with King 4 is more regarding best practices. So again, some compliance, but mainly King 4 deals with what are the best practices regarding corporate governance. The fourth generation for the King methodology really also deals with how are you implementing what you said were your rules and your regulations for corporate governance. There may be some people who are online who are familiar with the ISO methodologies. And ISO really, and that's ISO, right? ISO is primarily focused on not just what did you say you were going to do, but show me how you actually have done that, right? Show me the methodologies that you have used to actually prove that you're doing what you say you're going to do. And the fourth generation of the King methodology does that same thing. It basically takes into account, not only tell me what your corporate governance rules are, but tell me the methodology that you are using to ensure that you are complying with those rules and regulations. And so we have actually partnered with a company out of South Africa that does corporate governance training across the African continent, who are very familiar and very adept at the King 4 methodology. And so as our cohort members go through their training, they are actually steeped in the King 4 methodology, which again is a little different from what someone will get if they were just going through a U.S. corporate board training program. So that's, again, what makes us also unique in terms of the marketplace, is that we are preparing people for not just corporate board governance training, but we're preparing them for international corporate board governance training, which, by the way, once they have learned those skill sets and once they have applied those skill sets on a corporate board on the African continent, they can then use those same skill sets and take them back to the United States and make sure that they are actually using those skill sets from an American perspective as well. Particularly for those at the VP to senior vice president level here in the US, who, quite frankly, are not getting the opportunity for those corporate board roles here. It's an opportunity for them to get the experience on the African continent and then bring that experience back to the United States, which makes them even more valuable.
Let me ask you this, too. The process of being appointed to a board that is publicly traded in the U.S. Just talk to me about that process, and then talk to me about that same process on the international level on the African continent, how the two are the same or different.
Yeah, great question. So for publicly traded companies, board of directors are nominated, and then they are voted on by the stockholders. So any large corporation, or quite frankly, any corporation that is publicly traded, you will have a nominating committee that actually vets the candidates to ensure that they will add immediate value to the board. And then usually during the annual stockholders meeting, those candidates are put before the stockholders, and the stockholders vote on those candidates. And usually with most meetings, most stockholders will usually go with the nomination from the corporation. Now, there have been times, quite frankly, in which some corporate board members have not been voted on, even though they were nominated by their corporations. But that's how it works in the United States for publicly traded companies. For private companies, the process is a little different in that it is the actual board of directors that votes on the candidates because there are no independent stockholders, if you will. Now, this actually gets us into a conversation about independent board directors and non-independent directors and executive directors. So on corporate boards, there are different types of board directors. There are those directors that are called independent directors, and those are people that do not have an executive role within the corporation. For instance, for many corporations, the CEO and the CFO usually are also members of the board. So for independent directors, an independent director is what is called a non-executive director, which means they do not hold a compensation employee role on that board of directors. Now, you also have executive directors. Now, if you have someone who is the CEO of a corporation, the CFO of a corporation, usually those are the two primary members that are also members of the board of directors. Those are what are called executive directors, meaning that they actually hold an executive role in the company as a part of what's called the operating committee. So they are paid employees of the corporation who also happen to be board members. Okay. The third role for corporate board directors, in addition to independent directors who hold no employee status, you have employee status, and then what you have is private equity firms and venture capital firms. Now, private equity and venture capital firms actually hold equity in the company. So they are investors in the company. So private equity firms usually will buy and sell companies. Venture capitalists usually are those who are investing in startups. So each one of these types of organizations are putting their business capital into these corporations, and they want a return on their investment. So they usually will, as a part of their investment in the company, they usually will also want at least one or two board seats because they want to make sure that their investment is being managed properly. So those are kind of the three different types of roles. And that actually comports fairly well on the African continent as well. So for publicly traded companies on the African continent, you still have a nominating committee who nominates, but because these companies are publicly traded, their board of directors are voted in by the shareholders, by the stockholders, again, usually at the annual meeting. On the African continent, you also have private equity firms and venture capital firms who, by the mere fact that they're putting up investment capital into these companies, they want a seat at the table. Right? They want to make sure that their investments are being looked after properly. And so those who are either VCs or PEs will also hold board of director roles, at least one, many times, depending on the amount of investment capital that they've put into the company, they could have up to maybe 2 or 3 seats on that board, depending on, how they negotiated their investment. And then you have where B Direct comes in, which is the independent directors. And the independent directors are not employees of the corporation, nor do they have outside investment opportunities that they've put into the corporation, either from a private equity perspective or from a venture capital perspective. So their whole role, the independent director, their whole role is to basically be the outside eyes looking in to the company to make sure that the company is run properly. There's an old adage called eyes in, fingers out. So what that means is that you want to make sure that as an independent director that you have, and we'll get into this as well, kind of you have fiduciary responsibility. And what fiduciary responsibility means is that you actually have legal responsibility to make sure that the company is run on a compliance and legal basis, so that there is no outside influence going on to the company in terms of how its governance is run. And so independent directors, and actually all corporate board directors, also have to carry what is called board insurance. We live in a very litigious age, right, where people sue corporations. And so people also can sue boards of directors independent of the corporation. And so each board member has to carry what is called corporate board liability insurance to ensure that if someone does sue them, that there is kind of a bond on them, that they are insured for that purpose. This gets us into a different conversation of advisory boards versus corporate boards. And there is a difference. An advisory board member usually comes on when the company is first getting started. So let's say you've got a startup, you've got a new company, it's got some investors, whether that's private equity or from the venture capital world. So the advisory board is put in place usually as a sounding board for the CEO and a sounding board for the C-suite executives. They do not carry fiduciary responsibility. They are strictly from a advisory perspective. Now, usually advisory board members are not cash compensated. Usually advisory board members will take equity in the company.
Yeah.
And when that company goes public, and to some degree, it's kind of what's called kind of funny money, because you can't necessarily cash it in. The only time you can cash in that equity is when, and I'm throwing out a lot of terms here.
No, this is good information because it's good education. I feel like I'm in a in a college. You're sitting back and you're actually learning these corporate governance rules, really what it takes to dwell on the board. This is good education for people to hear about all these things in the media or whatever, but you don't really know how they operate and their importance and their value that they have in the business world. So
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So there is a difference between an advisory board and a corporate board. Usually the advisory board is put in place when the company is first starting up. So there are different stages of capital investment for corporations. There's what's called pre-seed, seed, and then you get to what's called Series A, Series B, and Series C. So pre-seed are basically when a company is just founding, and a lot of it is just sweat equity, quite frankly. Where you get a founder and several founding members, and they may put in some initial capital of their own, and the rest of it is their sweat equity. Seed capital is kind of that initial round of capital, maybe up to a couple of $100,000, in which usually someone called an angel investor, who will put up, tens of thousands or, hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest in a new company. Then you have what's called Series A. So Series A is the first kind of real round of capital where you're going to a venture capital firm and they're putting up, quite frankly, usually millions of dollars to help a company get off and running. That's to help meet payroll, to help meet any type of initial capital investments that company may need in terms of equipment or anything like that to get off the ground. So advisory board members usually come on board in that pre-seed to seed investment status to help a company get off the ground, to provide good, sound counsel to the CEO and to the executive committee. The way that they are compensated usually is through equity in the company, but that equity only can be realized when you have what is called a change of control. And that is a financial term, that is a legal term, which means that usually the change of control happens when that company is sold or goes public. So either when a venture capital firm comes in and decides, or a private equity firm comes in and decides to buy the company, a change of control happens at that point. Again, this is a legal term. Or when the company decides to go public, put itself on a publicly traded stock exchange, at that point, a change of control happens as well. And that's when any internal equity gets converted to real money. But besides that, advisory board members, they have a great title. It's a great way for them to get, board experience, but they have no legal liability. They have no fiduciary responsibility. For corporate board directors, they have fiduciary responsibility, which means they are legally liable for any misdirection that happens within that corporation. For that, they are compensated for their work. There's both cash compensation and equity in the company. In the United States, and we'll talk about how the United States also kind of compares with the African continent. So within the United States, usually companies who have revenues between, let's say, in the single millions, let's say $3 to $4 million in revenue, up to, let's say, $100 million in revenue. Usually those companies, the cash compensation for board directors is usually between, let's say, on the low end, between $25,000 to $30,000 a year cash compensation. up to let's say about $80,000 to $90,000 a year cash compensation, plus equity in the company. Now, for larger companies and for publicly traded companies, and let's say you're thinking about a Fortune 500 company, let's say you're thinking of a Coca-Cola or a Verizon or an AT&T or a Procter and Gamble or a General Electric. For those large, multi-billion-dollar Fortune 500 companies, their board of directors members will make cash compensation. And again, I'm not talking about equity at this point.
Yep, right.
They will make cash compensation usually between $150,000 to $250,000 a year.
Mm.
That is in addition to whatever their day job is. All right.
Yeah, not bad.
Plus, they will also get equity in the companies in which they are corporate board directors on. Now, for the African continent, and specifically for the companies that we are looking at on the African continent, where we are placing our Be Direct corporate board members, we're looking primarily at those board of director members getting cash compensation US between about $20,000 and $40,000 a year, plus equity in the company that they are board directors on. Now, think about this: if you are a U.S. citizen and you sit on 3 or 4 boards, whether on the African continent or in the United States, you're looking at up to on the lower end, an additional $100,000 in compensation per year, in addition to whatever your full-time day job is, right? Plus equity in that particular company, which is why we want to make sure that anyone that we bring forward in terms of our program can add immediate value to those boards, whether from an advisory board perspective or from a corporate board governance perspective. One of the things that we actually have found, and we didn't actually know this initially, but as we've been talking to our folks on the African continent who are actually working with corporate boards on the continent, what we found is that many companies who are in the startup mode, who usually will only be taking on advisory board members, what we've been told is that many of those companies actually are skipping the advisory board process and going directly to corporate board members with fiduciary responsibility, because they want to have folks that have that corporate board governance training, and they want to be able to have people that can add not just kind of advisory role to the company, but add real governance to the company. They actually want people who have been steeped in King 4 corporate governance methodology to bring that learning to the table, whereas, if you're in an advisory board role, you don't necessarily have the corporate board governance training, because, the CEO and the company is primarily just coming to you for advice, right?
Yes.
Not necessarily about governance. But what we're finding is that these early stage companies, they actually want the governance. And so that's kind of where we come in, where we actually train them and steep them in corporate governance, specifically around the King 4 methodology, so that they understand what it means to be a part of the audit committee. They understand what it means to be a part of the compensation and nominating committee, and they bring those skill sets to the table, because the reality is that CEO and that nominating committee is making a conscious decision to go outside of the country. And we make that very clear to the people that we have on that we have coming through our program, is you have to understand that you have to be able to add immediate value to that board, because that CEO is choosing not to have someone from Ghana, is choosing not to have someone from Kenya or from South Africa. they're choosing you. And so you have to be able to pay for yourself, right? Because these are paid compensated boards. So you have to be able to say, okay, here's the value that I'm bringing to this day one. I'm bringing value regarding corporate governance. I'm bringing value regarding specific functional skill sets, whether that's financial skill sets, whether that is sales and marketing, whether that is product development or engineering or supply chain. That business is looking to you to bring a specific value to that board, that a skill set that they may not necessarily have in-house. And so the folks that we have through our program bring those skill sets to the table, whether in an advisory board role or in a corporate fiduciary responsibility role. And we're looking at filling both. You know, our primary focus is to fill the corporate board directors who have fiduciary responsibility, but for those companies who are also looking for advisory board members, we can help them with that as well.
This is all very interesting. We only got a few minutes here, I believe, left, but I'm curious to know, and you've laid out a lot of information and just knowledge around board governance and the difference between the American and the international boards, especially in the African continent. You talked a lot about King 4. I think all that's important. I'm interested in knowing, from a government perspective, how much does the actual government affect policy on boards, either in the US or international? It seems to me that there's more, maybe it's affected more abroad than it may be in the US. But I'm interested in that. And then there are influences that are on these boards that you need to be aware of as you take a seat. So you're not just talking to a seat, so to speak, or individual. You're actually talking to a culture.
That's right.
A group of individuals that represent, a larger community of some type. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Awesome question. Usually what you're talking about, usually you will find in the United States with defense contractors. You'll have public-private collaborations, right? On the African continent, there are public-private collaborations. There are companies that have very strong governmental influence. Not so much with some of the younger startups. A lot of the younger startups are, primarily independent. But as companies get larger and larger, you do have these public-private collaborations in which the government, quite frankly, may own half of the company. And so you do absolutely have to be aware of that, because that most definitely exists. Probably the best example of that in the United States is Fannie Mae. So, and people may not realize this, but Fannie Mae, and many people have mortgages through Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae is actually a publicly traded company that is owned primarily by the United States government.
Right.
So it is one of those public-private collaborations. A lot of times you'll see with military contractors, whether that be Boeing or it used to be McDonnell Douglas, but they will have large governmental influence because they're also large government contractors, right? But on the continent, you will actually have the government, much like the whole Fannie Mae relationship, where the government literally owns half of the equity in the company. And so as an independent board director, yes, you have to be very aware of that and understand that those influences are there. And how do you navigate culture, and how do you navigate understanding government regulatory environment regarding your particular business? So that's a great question, because those relationships absolutely do exist. And I know we're running out of time, but there are also relationships in which nonprofit organizations own for-profit companies. For instance, people may not know this, but AARP in the United States is a nonprofit organization. But AARP as a nonprofit owns a $3 billion for-profit company that has its own board of directors.
Interesting.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And so you have those relationships on the continent as well, where you have for-profits who will spin out a nonprofit. And this last thing, many people may have heard of what happened with the owner or the CEO of ChatGPT.
Oh, OpenAI. Yeah. Yeah, that was a big thing. What happened there?
That's exactly. And that was a huge issue around corporate governance, because the OpenAI originally started as a nonprofit organization, and its board was a nonprofit board that created a for-profit corporation called OpenAI, which generated ChatGPT. And it was the nonprofit board that actually fired the CEO.
Yeah.
Then the nonprofit board basically dissolved themselves, and the for-profit board, which was a subsidiary of the nonprofit board, actually took over. And that's where you get the corporate governance piece, and they brought back the CEO.
I wasn't aware of that. So they dissolved the board, they fired Altman.
Yes, sir.
And then they just reorganized themselves
as a for-profit board,
and then brought him back.
That's
it makes you wonder, like, well, what was the problem here again?
Well, with the nonprofit board, their charter was not in alignment with the charter for the corporation, for the for-profit board, right? So the nonprofit board, it had very lofty goals in terms of helping humanity. The nonprofit board did not have as a part of its charter maximizing shareholder value. That's not why they came onto the board. Their board was to do great things. Their charter was to do great things for society. They ended up creating this for-profit corporation whose goal had to be maximizing shareholder value. And so what you had is competing interest.
Of course. Totally different. Yeah.
So that's why the Sam Altman was initially fired, was because he wasn't necessarily following the charter of the nonprofit board, but he was most definitely following the charter of the for-profit board. But the nonprofit board was the controlling board, which had the responsibility for hiring and firing of the CEO. So that's why they ended up dissolving themselves, and then the for-profit board taking control.
Interesting story. It played out before the public eye. Like, what was really happening there? But I didn't know that backstory.
Yeah.
And that they reformed.
Right.
And it's two different boards, profit and nonprofit. There is a big difference, and then what the goals are. So
absolutely.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much for our time together.
Yes, for sure.
Jada, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, so before we let you go, I have one more question.
Sure.
And it's, as a 17-year-old student, I'm interested in how does your company help students globally?
Great question. So for us, where we're at in our business model, we are more than happy to have students come and learn from us from an informal perspective. We're not at a place right now where we can offer paid internships, but we certainly are open to having students network with us on a global basis. and have students come and learn from us in terms of what does it mean to be a corporate board director? What does it mean to be an advisory board director? So, we're more than happy to have students come work with us.
Okay, I would definitely take this advice and also pass it on to my friends.
Please
So
do.
thank you so much for such an exceptional presentation and for sharing some of your knowledge with us. It was definitely a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Absolutely. If I could just do one thing for those that are interested, please go to our website, which is www.globalboarddirector.com, all one word, globalboarddirector.com. Go to our website. In addition, if you are interested in learning more about our organization, you can email us at info at globalboarddirector.com. And
Okay, thank you.
please also feel free, I'm on LinkedIn. Please also feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn.
Okay, thank you so much.
All
Have a
right.
great day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Genius is coming, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
The Black Business Expo's mission is to raise funds for high school seniors going to college or K-12 entrepreneurs. This expo is a fundraiser for students. You may go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to donate to the scholarship fund or use the cash app that's on the screen below, BBXUSA. Our goal is to give laptops and up to $5,000 to 10 students. Students can register online at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Every dollar counts, so we want to remind you to donate to the scholarship fund. We want to thank our Black Business Expo USA sponsors for February 2024. NC100, Moody Capital Partners, Sweet Soul, Lotus Reach Coaching and Training, Carolina, Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council, Step Management, Barbara H. Smith LLC, The Hello LLC, 5-Star BDM Media, Margie McLean Foundation Inc., Genius is Common, Earth Essentials, Malaine Shani Global, Executive Women's Success Institute, The Quality Coaching Company, Superwoman Business Services, Creative Force Studios, Lee Entertainment, Artistic App Design, Black Business Expo USA. Genius is Common, and I'll see you on the other side.
I'm Ramon Gray, founder of Smart Hustle Magazine and smallbiztechnology.com.
You're here today to celebrate small business success. Stand up on your feet. You rocked the house. It was amazing. Didn't we learn? For me, success comes from failure. One thing not to do is shake somebody's hand like this.
I am from Washington, D.C., but I was raised in Durham, North Carolina. I came to Durham when I was about 5 or 6, and then I traveled back and forth to D.C. because it's where my people are from. One of the unique things about my family is my mother, she's also an artist. She does quilting, and she does a lot of artistic things. And then my son, he draws with both hands, his right hand and his left hand, like I do. So that's kind of a family trait. And then my other son, he's a videographer, and my daughter, she works, she's a regional vice president for Sunglasses. When you start out drawing and sketching, you want to continue to explore, each avenue. I do pastels, I do pen and ink, I do painting, I do acrylics. I haven't done oils yet. But I try to do all facets of art. What I say to a lot of times to people is, you know, you can't put yourself in a box when you're an artist. You have to explore. And over the course of my life, I've tried to explore different mediums. I also do sculpture as well. I choose my subjects by the intensity that they have in their faces, or the intensity that somebody is moving, because I do more than portrait drawings. I also do I do abstract, and then I do figurative drawing also. Well, what happened in this particular show is that I started out trying to come up with something that would be a little bit different than what everybody else is doing. So I was working on a Barack Obama show, and they wanted me to do some paintings of Barack. And so what I did was, because of the deadlines, I kind of did it kind of fast. And then I realized when I was doing it fast, I enjoyed it. And so then I started doing other pieces the same way, and I started to enjoy those pieces also. And so I came up with this particular style. And it's a style of lines and colors. And what's interesting is that when I was in college, I did a show called Lines, Colors, and I talked about the boldness of the blacks, the hotness of the whites, and this is how this has come about, you know, later on in my life. And the colors comes from a lot of the entertainers that I work with, where they wear different colors. They don't wear, you know, your plain reds or your whites. They wear different colors, and so that's also another piece of what's giving me the colors. The subtitle of this show is Faces That Speak Life. That's real critical. Faces that speak life. Each one of these pieces is a life source and a life energy that's being put on display for people that are looking at them. You know, I always say in terms of my art, it's not important that I draw them. It's important what you get out of what I draw. You know, I don't try to just draw it because you like it. People wanted me to do prints. I didn't do prints. You know, people asked me to do different people, but the people that I choose are people that make a difference in the lives of people in the world. So the human landscape idea was, again, as I say, the lines represent your emotions, it represents your ideas, and it represents your journey as a human being. And that's why you get the different pieces and the different looks. And as you notice, I try not to do one look that looks alike another look. And that's what's the most important part of this show.
Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. and hope to see you there.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina.
Join Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school, all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world.
How many times have you been asked to help someone you didn't even know, a student, a business entrepreneur, or did you ever even ask, where did they end up? That business, that friend, that entrepreneur. Well, just maybe they ended up in a gang, bankrupt, homeless, or worse, dead. Maybe they turned to crime, drugs, and alcohol. Did you ever wonder? Did you destroy their dream, or was your life always so easy? At the Black Business Olympics, we started a movement to help students complete. Give them hope and foster success. Help them to leave their dreams of providing laptops, computers, and up to $5,000 in scholarship funds. Today, we ask you to help a student, a business owner, or an entrepreneur to realize their dream by sponsoring them, supporting them, and buying from them. Consider this. With $1.6 trillion in our Black community, we only ask for a small donation for our students, our businesses, and our entrepreneurs. And you can change a life today. So I ask you, what are you going to do? Sit on the sideline and watch our students in high school be leaders, miss out on their dreams from lack of resources? Or are you going to donate to the movement and change their future and yours as well? Give us a call today at 919-308-9090. Change their life by investing with action to the Black Business Olympic Fund. The Black Business Olympics, one of the largest business showcases of Black business in the history of the world.
Hello, my name is Kiasi Helm and I'm 14 years old. I think my genius would probably have to be setting goals and achieving them. I say this because ever since I was young, I always wanted to be an author, and at age 11 I ended up achieving this. But not only did I end up becoming an author, I ended up becoming a public speaker, a publisher, a business owner, all these great things. The name of my business is Written by Kids Publishing Company. I decided to start this company because I thought it was important for me to help kids my age express themselves through literacy and just achieve their own goals. Because to me, achieving goals is the best thing in the world to feel. It's you just achieving things and aspirations that you set for yourself. And I know that everybody is capable of this because even if you don't end up achieving the goal, you still tried your best, and that's the most important thing. And everybody is capable of this because genius is common. Thank you.
I'm Kennedy Harris. My genius is being an entrepreneur. I'm the CEO of K-Lock, a company where I develop my very own line of kids supplements. I currently market my multivitamin for kids to help combat weak immunity. During the pandemic, research has shown that having a strong immune system is key to fighting off disease. My vitamins are for kids, but adults can benefit from them as well. I'm adding a proprietary blend to my supplement line. I want to create my own blend so that I have a competitive edge in the marketplace. Staying healthy is important to me so that we live longer and have healthier lives. My website is klockproducts.com. That is K-L-O-C-K. Genius is common.
La collection BU. La collection BU.
In a world obsessed with the cult of celebrity, I challenge you not to aspire to anyone else's greatness, but instead strive to reveal and ignite the greatness within you.
Are you serious?
I totally think that that's it.
Hey.
No!
Hey! To me, sexy is a man that knows who he is and what he wants.
Okay.
He's comfortable. You look at him, you see him, he's just comfortable being himself. And you're like,
Baby, be you.
be you, baby.
Just be you. I like it. Introducing the BU collection, exclusively available at K&G Fashion Superstore.
So what we have to do is when we get in a spot, we need to create some spots for us. That's the main thing. We need to be able to be in a position where we're able to create those spots for us. for me, being an entrepreneur, I'm not just going to get a business and then leave you sitting high and dry. If you ask me some questions about entrepreneurship, I'm going to give you as much as I received. I've seen people who made it, and then when you ask them, it's like, okay, now you have to pay me for the information, the same information I got for free. We probably in totally different cities. There's no way that we're going to bump heads or anything. We're not competing. Bring me up with you. And so I just think that whatever education that I have, then I need to be able to give that to my own as well. So create the spots. You can create the spots when you get there.
Genius is common, and my genius is nutritional strategy. I am Shawnee Smith, the owner and creator of Can Do Spice. Can Do Spice was created because I knew that adding herbal and mineral supplements to my diet did not have to be boring. In fact, because I'm a food enthusiast, I knew I could create something flavorful and explosive that also had the benefit of adding herbal supplements such as sea moss, bladderwrack, burdock root, and black seed, just to name a few. I invite you to take this journey with me where we come together and take control of our nutritional health. It is my way of sharing my genius, the gift of flavor and the healing power of herbs to the world. What is your genius?
Have you ever seen a parent stressed out and needed a stress reliever with their child? One morning, I was coming out of a store and saw a mother and her 3 or 4-year-old son. She was highly upset, actually beginning to yell at him. However, the more upset she became, it seemed the calmer the child became. He sat down on the sidewalk, crisscross applesauce, folded his arms, and looked up at her with a smile. You see, the angrier she became, the calmer he became because he had the control of the situation. Hi, I'm Frizelma Lynn. I am the CEO and founder of Frizelma Teaching Parents, LLC. I'm a retired teacher, school district administrator, an author, speaker, and I am the parenting 911 coach. My mission is to rescue families by equipping parents with proven, effective, and practical strategies to enhance their parenting skills. Many times we as a society expect parents to teach, train, and raise their children without providing the necessary tools they need to accomplish this. However, parenting issues cannot be resolved without intervention. Therefore, Frizelma Teaching Parents has provided coaching programs, digital courses, and live webinar trainings to provide step-by-step research-based parenting strategies, even for parents whose children are disrespectful, defiant, for those who have been diagnosed with ADD and ADHD, and even for parents of adult children. No longer will you have the need to feel like you are a failure as a parent. You'll now have the tools needed for each situation. Trust me on this one. Go to www.parenting911.org. Book a 15-minute strategy session with me or choose one of the coaching programs. Our training helps parents relieve stress.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
Good day, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and corporations. Welcome to the Black Business Network. My name is Jada Charles, and I am Guyanese. I am your business moderator for this evening on the Black Business Network. The Black Business Network is a 24-hour business network showcasing Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders worldwide. We have speakers from North Carolina, London, Singapore, Africa, Japan, and cities all over the United States. The Black Business Network is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, inspire, and educate businesses about business. Our next speaker is Grant McGaugh. Owner and founder of 5-Star BDM, Grant McGaugh was recognized by Legacy Magazine as a thought leader and super connector for healthcare professionals. His highlights include establishing a statewide organization for the National Association of Health Services Executives for Florida. He serves as the immediate past president and as Regent National Board Member of NAHSE. He is also the program chair for HIMMS South Florida. He provides knowledge, share programs for health information technology professionals in South Florida, named by Miami Legacy Magazine as South Florida's top Black healthcare professional of 2019 and an African American achiever by JM Family in 2020. Grant McGaugh has created a socially conscious digital presence that inspires the healthcare community. Grant was also recognized by Becker's Healthcare Review and best-selling author and brand master Martin Lindstrom in 2021. With over 20,000 followers collectively, Grant has taught entrepreneurs, students, and multi-passionate go-getters from all walks of life how to dream big and back it up with daily action to create results. He offers his acclaimed personal branding program and business development strategy for small enterprises, featured both in NAHSE News, the Miami Herald, and the Sun Sentinel. I present to you Grant McGaugh. Hello.
Let me come off of mute. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. The way you read that bio, I felt so good. I was just floored. I wasn't expecting that, and so that was wonderful. There's my partner in crime.
Thank you so much. Hi.
Hello. How are you? That was an amazing bio that you read on Mr. Grant. So yes, very impressive.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Charles has been doing a wonderful, wonderful job this afternoon. I'm very, very impressed.
Awesome.
Thank you. Okay, so now we'll have a fireside chat with Dr. Tandra Price and Mr. Grant McGaugh. Genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side.
Awesome.
Well, Miss Tandra, Dr. Tandra Price. Every time I get an opportunity to have a fireside chat with you, I always get excited because you have the energy. You have the background, you have the experience. We talk the same talk. You understand the power of digital networking of itself. And then you've made this pivot, this transformation in your career from network marketing, sales professional to now being a speaker, author, and a networking coach. Talk to us about that journey and why you took this course in life?
Well, really, again, I'm trying to just change the networking space and really just kind of amplify my voice and let the audience and my audience know that the power of networking is real. I took that transformation when I, connected with other speakers that were just on the stage and telling their story, how they got started, and what their experience was. And I've always known that the power of networking is real. But I know a lot of people are intimidated behind networking. So I kind of just took the transition of my experience because, we can always use our experience and grow from that. But I took that and just really started just implementing programs that would help entrepreneurs, especially those who were challenging with, starting conversations with people. It was just a way of really being able to get back and help with my community that I already have.
I totally agree with that. I've had a lot of people ask me, like, Grant, how were you able to network so fluently? It seems easy to you. And when I talked to them, I said, you've got to take the attention off of yourself. And if you take the attention off of yourself and you're in especially a room full of people, the common thing to ask is, why are they here? There's a common thread for why you're in the room, why they are in the room. And there's got to be something of meaning between you that brings together. And I see this so many times. You start to find out, oh, wow, so-and-so, or you're familiar with this. And then you have a natural conversation that takes place. I like that. So the question is, what inspired you to create an empowerment movement? Because you found this specifically with women and you wanted to help them to make their success. And you doubled down on empowering women through a movement. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so kind of what happened was, just within our transitions of traveling, I knew the importance of whenever we would have to travel and relocate to another community or city or town, that we needed a network. And in order to get that network was to really gather other women who were having the same issue as that I was having. We went from California to Connecticut to Oklahoma. And I was like, man, I need to have a network that I could build from, that if nothing else, if I was having issues with my children or whatever, we needed to have that network, that bond. So I just kind of started creating women's groups. Wherever we would travel or relocate, I would just create a small group. It started off with a small group, maybe 10, 15 ladies, and we would just get together, meet on a weekly basis and talk about what was going on. If they were looking at starting a business, what did they need to help them within their business to grow? Or if they was just needing some support, maybe some direction and new to town. I mean, what did they need and what could we help them with? And that's kind of how that whole movement got started. And then just kind of build until, we had well over 20 ladies, 20 groups, around, Oklahoma, Kansas City. I had kind of just started putting it out there, especially during the time of COVID. I mean, it was really good because people couldn't really get out and network, but they still needed to be able to run their business. So by having these powerful groups and these ladies would come together, I mean, we were able to exchange business ideas. What were you working with? What did you need help with? I mean, we started talking about new trends and styles that was going on. I mean, how could we really collectively come together and help one another? And that's kind of how it all got started.
Well, I tell you, it got started. It blew up. It got very, very big. I mean, you've got a magazine, Tapping Magazine. You just did something special with the NFL. I remember seeing that. I want to hear about that experience because that sounded so awesome. Tell me a little bit about that.
The growth of Tapped In Magazine, we're just doing some amazing things. We actually are again over 700,000 online distributions. We're in the UK. We partner with some major television corporations, and it's just expanding our network. So we had an opportunity to be one of the PR agents at the Super Bowl Media Week in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, let me tell you, this was an experience. My very first time being there was over 343 media outlets. And when I tell you, anywhere from CBS Sports News to, CNN News, I mean, there were just amazing news media outlets. And it was surprisingly, we were able to sit down and talk with them. They were able to interview us. We were able to interview them. And one of the things that we talked about, which is what my topic was touchdown. It was called Touchdown Talks, where, NFL and players are making touchdowns on the field, but they're also making touchdowns off the field. They're making major impacts in their community that because of all the negative publicity, I wanted to change the narrative to a positive so we could be able to highlight them in a positive way to help their community know it wasn't just a name to the fame. They are really actually doing something in the community. But it was amazing. We got an opportunity to interview, meet some stars. And, it was an experience that I think that if you are a PR agent, anybody would want to really take advantage of that. Not leaving from that, we were able to make some major, major connections and take Tapped In to the next level.
Well, you are definitely on the next level. You threw out those numbers so quick. 700,000 subscribers subscribe to your magazine online.
Mm-hmm.
We started this conversation talking about simple networking, just going into a meeting and being able to present your card and what you do, your elevator pitch, and just making yourself visible, how to follow up. And you're talking about 700,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
That's a lot of talking, Dr. Tandra.
Yes, here's our motto. Our motto is each one promote one. And by having that particular motto, again, when we started the publication, we wanted to change the networking space. Again, this was the time during COVID, and we were like, listen, how can we really promote one another? You can promote by being put on the front cover of a magazine because you're going to share that with all your networks. The more people we got, the more, exposure each person got, but it had an opportunity for people to actually read the stories. I mean, these people are making huge impacts in their community, in their business. And it's not like, they could get out. I'm not saying they couldn't, but get on like an Essence or a Vogue or something like that. We know the guidelines are a little bit different. But for us to be like small magazines, and I was saying this even when I was at Super Bowl Media Week, that we work just as hard as the bigger name publications by getting, a person's voice out there, making sure that they're seen and heard. It's not just a magazine, it's a statement. But we work just as hard. And by doing that, we have, we just keep increasing and growing, every year. We have some major things that's going to be happening with our publication this year. And I'm so super excited. But we got an opportunity to do some things that, I don't know if other publications are doing, but I know that Tapped In is doing it, and we're growing in a major way.
So help us understand this. We just had Jada on. Jada's 17. She started on her journey, getting into her career. She's got an interest in entrepreneurship. She's working behind the scenes here now at the Black Business Network. She wants to know how you got not only just started, but how you started to get those big pivots, that you did the right thing, talked to the right person, and you watched not only your magazine grow, your brand grow. What were some of the secret sauce that you can share with Miss Jada Charles?
Just being consistent. I think that's really the biggest thing. But anytime we're talking about networking, I was willing to build the relationships, not just that one hit shot. A lot of times when we go in there, we have to have the agenda of that we want to build relationships and not just go in there, I give my business information and they don't talk to me, then it's over with. We have to realize, and for me, it was about building a resource pool. So I wasn't networking for myself. I was networking for the next person who was going to be able to come into my fold. So anytime they needed something, I could pull it out of that resource bank and say, here is this. Now, there's nothing better than getting a referral from someone. When your clients come to you and you can help them with other needs, they don't really need to go anyplace else, right? And then when you're giving another business person a referral, it just kind of triples down. I think that's the benefit of being a part of networking, because it helps your business grow exponentially. You can get so much power out of it. So for me, I would say, as for her, just be consistent and then show up. Let me tell you, there's a lot of times that I go to networking events after doing all my research, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm just tired. I do not want to go to another networking event. But surprisingly, when I do go to that network, there's a blessing that's already waiting for me.
Oh, that's golden. That's golden. We need to open up our ears. And what I heard from what you just said, you took the attention off of yourself. Mm-hmm. You put it in this like, how can I help someone else? Mm-hmm. And if I'm helping someone else grow, in turn, I know in time, I will also be helped. Because when you begin to have that brain like, I'm going to, Dr. Tandra Price, yeah, you know her, man, she helped me with my business growth. She turned me on to so-and-so and so-and-so. And now, and look at it, I'm doing it. So when something comes up, I'm going to bring that back to her. because you don't just go to 700,000 subscribers. You don't just have, the media presence that you have, the things that you're doing. And because you have those things, it becomes a lot easier for you when you start looking at your coaching business or your speaking business or the books that you're in, because you have a story to tell. And that brand resonates, in the community. When you're not even in the room, that Tandra Price card is still working the room.
Well, you know what? I call them, I'm walking billboards, right? When we are able to do a transformation for someone's life or business, they now become your walking billboard. I mean, they can say, hey, just like you said a minute ago, hey, Tandra, help me with X, Y, and Z. This would be a good person for you to reach out to. It isn't about us. It is about how do we build, sustainable relationships, and how do we nurture them and make them grow? We have to keep watering them and make them grow. And when you do that, you do build these walking billboards that help you to put you in rooms that you would never even think about being at. When I got invited to the Super Bowl Media Week, it was a name that was mentioned. It was a referral. They reached out to me through this referral. So apparently whatever I did was amazing for them, and they introduced me and got me into the room. I mean, and I think that's the good thing about when you think about networking, because you're building those positive relationships. And it like you said, it puts you in the room when you weren't even supposed to be in there.
Talk to us about when you get media credentials. A lot of people don't know about this in the media world, that gives you some access that you normally wouldn't, but you have to know the process of getting those credentials. What did you have to do to get those credentials?
Again, it's about like who all you know. Again, even for the Super Bowl Media Week, I mean, to get that big of a credential is because someone knew me that knew somebody who could get me in the room. And by having those credentials, I mean, it opened up a lot of doors for me to be able to talk to someone else to help someone else. So a lot of times, again, when I go into those type of things, I'm not just thinking of myself. I'm thinking, who can I bring along with me? Who can I help along with me? So not only can I get the credentials, maybe the next person can get the credentials as well. But there's a process that you have to go through. In that process, I mean, it just begins on who you know.
That is it. And who knows you, right? Who knows you? So what's next? I mean, you just did a major production, right? Yeah. You've got some things on tap. I love this, called Tap In. Help us tap in to Tandra Price and what's going on.
So our next big thing that we got going on, we're working with, again, some other entertainers that's going to be coming up throughout the year. But we have right now coming up is Black Women's History Month. And let me tell you, we do a publication. We have been doing a publication each year in March for Women's History Month. And just to see the foundation that's being laid by these amazing women. Remember, I started with women and we started these amazing groups, but just to see how they progress from now and the footprint that they are making for the next generation is so important. And to hear their stories, like, how they did it, how they made a transformation. So right now, Tapped In Magazine is getting ready for the Women's History Month. We're looking for amazing, whether speakers, authors, coaches, entertainers to come in and tell their story. Let their story be a foundation that can live on and on and on for the next generation to read. I think it's amazing. So go to tappedinmagazine.org. We'd love for you to be a part of our publication for Women's History Month.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people just heard that. That's very important as we come full circle in what we're doing, and we're elevating people. It's about elevating others, and as you have been elevated yourself. I'm curious, behind the scenes. We're on the Entrepreneurial Black Business Network, and really behind the scenes, if you're starting to do what you're doing, what kind of tool sets do you use? What are the things that you're leveraging that has helped your business to sustain itself, and the investments in that type of, whether it's technology or people, human resource? What is really helping you to get to that next level?
You know what? Personal development is really helping me. I'm making sure that I'm taking time to, get to grow, staying abreast of my industry, like with every new trend that's coming out, AI, LinkedIn, all that stuff. I'm just trying to stay well informed about what's going on. I think that's kind of what's keeping me ahead of where I need to be. Or when I'm actually talking with a client or coaching a client, I mean, I have some current information to give them and for them to be able to work with. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we have to figure out how to grow. And you're right, whether it's through going to tech, I do different things outside of my box. You know, I even do like Toastmasters to, you know, help me with my speaking. I do, right now I'm taking a class right now just on the fundamentals of business. A lot of times, you know, we think we know everything, but we don't. We always got to have room in our cup to grow. But I always try to make sure that I'm learning as I go. And I'm learning from other people. I'm looking for my teacher every morning. Who's going to be my teacher today? Because there's something out there to be learned. But I think that's just kind of what helps me to sustain and help my growth along the way.
I think that's so important. The investment in yourself, understanding we're at, we never fully arrive. We get to certain rungs on the ladder, and you got to get to that next step. Help us understand your coaching program. Are you doing one-on-one coaching? Are you coaching classes? Is it in person? Is it online? Help us understand that.
So our coaching program is a group coaching program, and it's online. So we actually have two. We have one that helps you optimize your LinkedIn, and then we have networking bootcamp. Each one of those have something different because we're really trying to help entrepreneurs merge the two. LinkedIn really goes through your whole LinkedIn profile. It tells you what you need, what you don't have. It helps you with the things where you need to get the resources, whether it's to build a banner, to do your picture, to make sure that we're focusing on the highlights of your profile. Then we turn around into networking. Okay, so now is you're extrovert or introvert? How does that work? How do you actually start mastering the art of communication when you're going to network? You know, what's your plan? How do you create that plan? What's your follow-up plan? So we try to put everything in kind of different categories like that. But we do it on a group basis. Right now we have our LinkedIn optimization class coming up, which is next month. And we also have our networking. It's called the Connection Code, which will be coming up next month again. So yeah, well, we're doing them both online. There's a small minimum fee to join. They are an hour and a half each course. And then we take you into the next level after that.
So is it a one-time LinkedIn course, or is it over several weeks?
So the LinkedIn Bootcamp is over several weeks. It's a 6 weeks program, but the LinkedIn optimization is a one-time class. So we can maybe kind of help you with the foundation. The same thing as the bootcamp. You'll have that one-time introduction class, and then we'll have a 6-week bootcamp on different things of networking.
I like that approach. So a person can, try or buy it, like, hey, is this for me? Let's get in. It's a nominal fee just to get started. And then if you want to take the next step, it's a 6-week course. It's an investment in yourself. Again, I love how you already framed that this is what you're doing. You're asking someone to invest in you, and basically they're investing in themselves to get better. And this is what you bring to the table. Because I have noticed over and over again, especially with entrepreneurs, even career professionals, they struggle when it comes to becoming more visible.
Yes.
And understanding we are in a digital first environment now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not okay. Now, you know what? I'll just view social media or that type of thing and not really engage. Well, you're cutting off at least half of what you could be as far as your potential. Because as you stated, there's people out there that need what you bring to the table. Absolutely. And if you're not presenting yourself in a way that shows your knowledge, you don't just show up and just sell your products and services. People expect it. What they want to understand is your knowledge, who you are, what you stand for, what's your point of view, what's your personal story. Because as we get further and further along this road, you see that a lot of things are very commoditized, meaning you can get that from anywhere. How do you differentiate yourself? But you have to tell your story. You seem to be a master storyteller.
I think, you know what, each person, have to be unique. I think that people will do business with who they know, like, and trust, right? I mean, that's the whole thing. But I think you have to, I don't ask my clients to do anything that I wouldn't do. You know, and that's one of the things that we have, you know, coaches and mentors. Like I even have a coach and a mentor. For me to tell someone else to get one, I mean, I have to have the same thing, but we have to continue to keep learning. And I think we have to, because of how everything is so digitized nowadays, I mean, we got to figure out future thinking. Like where's this going to take your business in 5 years, 6 years? I mean, we can't just be stagnant and at a plateau right now. I mean, what's next? And have we really thought about that and where we're going to be headed in our business? I mean, you know, they used to ask that question when you were at doing an interview, you know, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, right? So, I mean, it's almost kind of the same thing, but we have to have someone to coach us along with that, right? Because again, we're not professing that we know everything. We got to get some help. I mean, entrepreneurship, it takes, you know, a collaboration. We can't do this thing by ourselves, and we need those others to help us along the way. So, but we have to be willing to invest the time and, you know, seek out those people that can help us do and get us to the next spot.
100% agree what you just said. Collaboration. The business landscape is changing, where you get more and more people in what we call the gig economy. What does that mean? That you're not necessarily a W-2 employee for everything that you're doing. You may be more 1099, you're a contractor, you're helping out in certain endeavors. And so that you have small little companies that come together for projects for what you're trying to accomplish. This is becoming more and more the norm, specifically in the Gen Z, Gen X, millennial type world. This is the world that they're growing up in, where you take responsibility for paying your taxes. You're taking responsibility for your own health insurance, and you're taking on the responsibility of creating your own economy. And because we are in the what I call the creator economy, that you can, the things that you can do now, you could never do 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Think about these things that have changed that allow you to really create and manage and grow a business online at a very high level. And you think about, you say, oh, Grant, you're overshooting yourself. No, you need to take a look at on the NASDAQ and see who are the top companies in the world and what they do and the platform that they're on. And you already know their names, and the Metas and the Airbnbs and the Ubers, and all these are digital platforms.
Digital platforms, yes. I mean, it was so crazy because just the other day, and it shows how far we went. The other day, I was sitting watching The View, and Dr. Phil came on there, and he's doing a whole new thing. But one of the things he said is when he started his very first show, no one was texting. I mean, no one was texting. No one was, cell phones wasn't even as popular as them. Now look where we are today. I mean, look at Hollywood. I mean, we were talking the other day, me and some colleagues were talking, and we were talking about where the entertainment industry is now, where you had to be there in order to do, or to audition for things. Now, it's a simple digitized, like you said, everything is going that direction. So we really have to be thinking, futuristic. Where are we going? Where's your business going?
And can you be creative? Your imagination is now golden. And what's it worth? Because if you can imagine it, you can build it.
That's
and
it.
If you can build it, and if it can actually solve a problem for people, you can now reimagine so many different things. And I think about what you've done with Tap In, that you stood back. Can you make this possible? Think about this. 5 years ago, when you were getting into the Tap In space and doing these things, could you see yourself doing almost like $1 million?
No.
You got 1 million followers, 1 million people are tapping into your magazine.
I'm telling you, when I started Tap In magazine, it was like, it was an idea that I had. I did a bunch of research on other magazines and, how do I be different and unique for them? And when I started, I was like, okay, I don't know how this is going to work. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be cost effective. I wanted people to, and then the next thing it went from here to now where I am today. I mean, like, who would think I would have been at the Super Bowl on the field interviewing football players? I mean, come on. I never thought like that. I never thought to where, my magazine will now be showcasing at, big speaker conferences and things of that nature. So you're right. It took consistency and things of that nature to take it to the next level.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Yes.
Hello. Thank you so much for coming here today, you guys. It was very insightful and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. You're doing an awesome job.
Thank you so much. Genius is coming, and I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is Dr. Arnold T. Petsworth. He's the owner of Petsworth Vet World, a veterinary clinic in Hopton, Connecticut. His patients include dog, cat, frog, fish,
Goldie,
dog, and this alpaca. Due to doctor-patient confidentiality, we can't tell you their names. Business at Vet World was steady, and then quarantine hit. Neighbors brought new four-legged friends into their homes. Bunnies. Bunnies everywhere. Dr. Petsworth welcomed these new patients with open arms. The only problem? There were more appointments than he could manage. That's when Dr. Petsworth turned to his American Express business card, which offers spending potential that's built for his changing business needs. He decided to hire a new assistant, Julio, and with spending power built for business purchases, he used his card to furnish a new exam room. Together, Dr. Petsworth, Julio, and American Express Business made sure all the pets of Hopton got the love and care they deserve. And everyone was happy. Get the card built for business by American Express.